My name is Chun Ming, and today was the day that was supposed to change my life. The job awakening ceremony in Yanhai City. Everyone was watching me. I had the highest mental potential score our school had ever seen. 19%, way above the old record of 12%. People expected me to get an S-rank class, maybe even higher. But when I stepped onto the platform and the magic array lit up, it just stopped. The light went out halfway through. The instructor looked at me with pity and told me I got a C-rank class, Shield Guardian. Not the worst, but nowhere near what everyone expected. The crowd started whispering. Some laughed, some felt sorry for me. A C-rank meant my first skill would be C-rank 2, and getting better resources or stronger skills later would be really hard. But honestly, I wasn't upset. I had a secret nobody knew about. At the bottom of my personal panel, there was a charging bar, and it read 99.99%. Whatever it was going to give me, it was almost ready. My buddy Sun Yang came over to cheer me up. He got a B-rank Shadow Blade class, pretty solid. He offered to team up and help me level up. I told him I was fine and that I'd think about it. I wanted to wait and see what my hidden ability would turn out to be. Then the whole hall went crazy. A girl named Qin Jishua stepped onto the platform, and the magic array exploded with light. She awakened an SS rank class, Holy Radiant Angel. Nobody in our whole province had gotten SS rank in 10 years. She was already a genius who broke almost every record, and now she had the rarest class anyone had seen. People started talking about how she and I were technically on the same team, the Morning Light Squad. The school had put us together for a competition back before anyone awakened. I'm listed as the captain. But now, with her being SS rank and me just C rank, everyone figured she'd quit the team right away. I didn't worry about any of that. I just kept my eyes on that charging bar, waiting for it to hit 100%. I looked at my team info and thought about disbanding the Morning Light Squad. The school had put us together, and we never really chose each other. The other 3 members were Qin Jishue with her SS rank Holy Angel class, Song Chuan with an S rank Battle Vanguard, and Jiang Yi with an A rank Tide Mage. We were the top 4 students by potential, but now I was the weakest one, a C rank captain leading a team of elites. But you know what? I decided not to disband it. I made the team. I named it. Why should I be the one to shut it down? If they want to leave, they can leave. Plus, creating a team costs 40,000 gold, and even though the school paid for it, I earned that perk by ranking first in mental potential. I checked my stats. Level 1, most attributes at 10, but my constitution was 600 thanks to the 20% bonus from my Shield Guardian class. My one skill was Battle Resilience, a C-rank passive that let me recover health even during a fight. Not bad, but nothing special. Then I heard it. A chime went off in my head. Charging progress, 100%. My heart started racing. 3 years of waiting, and it was finally done. The message told me I had unlocked a special talent. I would get 1 SSS level skill every 10 levels, guaranteed. No resources needed. Even SSS rank class holders can't promise that every skill they unlock will be SSS grade, but mine always would be. On top of that, I got an activation reward, a random SSS skill, already at max level. I asked Sun Yang if skills had a level cap. He said no, nobody had ever maxed one out. That meant I was about to become the first person in the world to own a max level skill. I claimed the reward. The skill I got was called Absolute Defense. When I read what it did, my jaw nearly dropped. It's a passive ability. If an enemy's stats are lower than mine, their attack does 0 damage. If their stats are higher, no matter how much higher, each hit only does 1 point of damage. That's it. Just 1. With my constitution at 600, even the strongest being alive would have to hit me 600 times just to take me down. And that's not even counting my battle resilience, which keeps healing me during the fight. I was speechless. This skill was completely broken. I spent a moment thinking about what absolute defense really meant. It basically threw out the normal rules of combat. Instead of defense reducing damage like it does for everyone else, my damage taken was now just 2 numbers, 0 or 1. Nothing in between. It was like a bug in the system. Sun Yang kept trying to get my attention. He thought I was upset about my C-rank class and looked really worried about me. When I finally snapped out of it, he put his hand on my shoulder and told me he'd help me level up. He meant well, but I turned him down. I told him I'd level up alone. Here's the thing. My plan was to fight monsters way above my level. With absolute defense, I could take hits from anything and only lose 1 health at most. I could slowly grind down powerful beasts that nobody else at level 1 would dare touch. But if Sun Yang came with me, he'd be in real danger. He didn't have my protection. One wrong move, and he could die. So for now, going solo was the only option. Sun Yang thought I'd lost my mind. Everyone knows that before level 5, you're supposed to team up. Solo fighting at this stage is basically a death wish for anyone who is an S rank or higher. He walked away shaking his head, thinking I was still in shock from getting a C rank class. After that, the head instructor gave a final speech. She told us the awakening was just the beginning. We had a 1-month graduation exam coming up, a massive test run by the Alliance that covered the entire country. All new graduates were part of it. Our performance would decide our official rating, which mattered for joining guilds, companies, or alliance departments. A huge magic array activated and pulled everyone into the exam instance. 30 days, starting now, right here in Yanhai City. Everyone got excited and started heading for the beast forest outside the city to begin leveling up. I walked out alone. Then 2 people stopped me, Song Chuan and Jiang Yi, my other 2 teammates from the Morning Light squad. Song Chuan, the guy with glasses, walked up and told me straight to my face that I should give up my captain position and leave the team. I stared at him. Was he serious? He wanted me to hand over the team I created and then kick myself out? I looked at both of them like they were idiots and said, "Do you not have hands? Can't you just leave the team yourselves?" Song Chuan told me the team didn't belong to me alone, and Jiang Yi offered me 1 gold coin to leave, like I was some beggar they could pay off. That's when it clicked. They didn't just want me gone. They wanted to keep the Morning Light squad so they could use it to recruit Qin Jishue. An SS-rank teammate would set them up for life. But having a C-rank captain like me on the team might scare her away, so they wanted me to hand over my position and disappear quietly. I didn't waste time arguing. I opened my panel and kicked them both out of the team on the spot. Song Chuan couldn't believe it. Getting kicked is considered an insult. Normally people leave on their own when there's a disagreement. But they came to my face and told me to give up what was mine. I just smiled and said I was helping them leave faster. The crowd around us was buzzing. Some people thought I had guts. Most thought I was being reckless. Picking a fight with an S rank and an A rank was asking for trouble down the road. Song Chuan warned me not to run into him in the wild, then walked away with Jiang Yi. But then everything changed. Qin Jishue showed up. Song Chuan's eyes lit up. He rushed over, introduced himself, mentioned his S-rank class, and asked her to team up. She didn't even answer him. She walked right past him and came straight to me. "Do you want to team up with me?" she asked. The whole place went dead silent. An SS rank was asking a C rank to be teammates. Nobody could believe it. I was confused too. I asked her why. She said I had helped her before, and she didn't like owing people. She was talking about the time I taught her some mental training techniques back when the school had us working together. I hadn't thought much of it, but apparently it meant something to her. She offered to help me reach level 10 during the exam. I thought about it for a second. Having an SS rank partner for dungeon runs was too good to pass up. And if I hit level 10, my special talent would give me another SSS rank skill, maybe one that could make up for my low attack power. So I agreed, but told her I'd go solo for now, and we'd team up once it was time for dungeons. She nodded and left without another word. Everyone around us was stunned. The strangest team in history, an SS rank and a C rank, working together. People were whispering, jealous, confused. And Song Chuan, the guy who just tried to kick me out? He was standing there frozen, looking like he wanted to disappear. I headed to the camps at the edge of Yanhai City. The place was packed with new awakeners buying gear, forming teams, and getting ready to fight. I went into the Abyss Guild shop and spent 5,000 on a long blade with a strength 4 bonus. It wiped out half my savings. I wanted armor too, but I couldn't afford it. As soon as I walked out, a few people tried to recruit me. 4 low-level fighters. Having a shield guardian on the team was useful, someone to take hits while they attacked. A C-rank mage even offered to pair up with me. I turned them all down. People thought I was crazy. A shield guardian going solo? Buying strength gear instead of defense gear? They figured I was still pretending to be some kind of genius. They had no idea. I left the city alone and pulled up my map. Years of exploration had marked out safe zones near the city where the beasts were well known. I picked a spot called Breezewood Forest. The scenery was beautiful, wide grasslands with tall green grass swaying in the wind, misty valleys in the distance. Then I heard a sharp cry. A spiky, oval-shaped creature popped out of the grass. A spike roller beast, level 1. It attacks by curling into a ball and charging at high speed. Hard to dodge, but weak on defense. I didn't plan to dodge anyway. It launched at me, spinning like a spiked cannonball. I raised my blade to block. It slammed into me hard, and little spikes flew at my body. The damage number that popped up? 0. I felt nothing. Just a light tickle on my skin. The spikes tore my clothes, but couldn't even scratch me. My absolute defense was working perfectly. Since the beast's strength was lower than mine, it literally couldn't hurt me at all. I relaxed and started swinging. Each hit did 21 damage, and when I found its weak spot, I landed a 42. The beast went berserk, eyes turning red, spikes shaking. It used its special move, whirlwind roll, spinning wildly and hitting me from my blind side. The spikes slammed into my waist. 0 damage again. I couldn't help but laugh. This ability was completely unfair. The beast kept attacking with everything it had, and my health bar didn't move at all. Only one of us was losing health, and it wasn't me. I finished off the spike roller beast with a final slash. It dropped a beast core, a small stone filled with wind energy, useful for crafting gear or selling to guilds. That's how adventurers make money in this world. I checked my health, 600 out of 600. Not a scratch. I did the math. Each level 1 beast gave about 6 experience points, and I needed 100 to reach level 2. That meant killing around 15 to 20 of them, so maybe half a day's work. Normally, reaching level 2 on day 1 is A-rank speed. Doing it in half a day is S-rank pace. And I was hitting that speed with just a C-rank class and no attack skills. All because I never had to stop and heal. That's the thing most people don't realize. Fighters spend half their time recovering. They take damage in every fight, and once their health gets low, they have to retreat. Some leave at 200 health, cautious ones even earlier. I didn't have that problem. My health bar never moved. But level 1 beasts were too slow. I needed stronger ones for faster experience. I pushed deeper into the forest. Other fighters were out there too, all in pairs, fighting carefully and keeping their distance from the beasts. Then 3 spike roller beasts jumped out of a bush and surrounded me. Most teams would run from 3 at once. I just smiled and charged in. The 2 level 1 beasts attacked first. 0 damage. I slashed them both, then felt a sting on my back, just 1 point of damage. I turned around and saw a bigger one. Level 2. Its stats were higher than mine in at least one area, so it could actually hurt me, but only for 1 damage per hit. I ignored the 2 small ones completely, turned my back on them and everything, and focused on the level 2 beast. My hits did less damage against it because of its higher defense, but I had all the time in the world. It would need hundreds of hits to threaten me. I cut it down long before that. Nearby, a 2-man team spotted me and panicked. They thought I was getting mauled and rushed over to help. But when they got closer, they stopped and just stared. One guy fighting 3 beasts at once, not even bothering to dodge, calmly swinging his blade like it was practice. They checked my class and couldn't believe it. Just a C-rank shield guardian doing what looked impossible. 2 fighters nearby watched me the whole time. They couldn't figure out how a C-rank shield guardian was taking hits from 3 beasts without going down. I noticed them staring, and they nervously asked if I needed help. I told them I was fine and kept swinging my blade mid-conversation. They stuck around and watched. I just kept hammering the level 2 spike beast with basic attacks, while the 2 level 1 ones clawed at my back. No fancy skills. I didn't have any active ones. Just swing, swing, swing. When I finally hit the level 2 beast's weak spot, it went berserk and charged at me in a blur. Hit me twice. 1 damage each time. I didn't even flinch. I struck back twice more and finished it off. 15 experience points, more than double what a level 1 gave. It also dropped something special, a strength runestone. Runestones are what really power up your gear. Equipment is just a holder for them. My blade already had 4 strength stones, giving it 4. I slotted the new one in right away, bringing it to 5. I did all this while 2 level 1 beasts were still attacking me. I didn't even bother looking at them. I checked my health, 573 out of 600. Killing a level 2 beast only cost me about 1/10 of my health, and I recovered 55 points per hour. So I decided to forget about level 1 beasts entirely and hunt only level 2s from now on. I walked deeper into the forest, leaving the two small beasts behind. The pair of fighters who'd been watching me just stood there in silence. Later I heard they called me an SSS rank human titan. Funny, coming from people who needed a full team just to handle a level 1 beast. I kept grinding for 3 hours straight, spiked beasts, leaf mice, whatever crossed my path. Then I heard the notification I'd been waiting for, level 2. My stats jumped up nicely. Constitution went from 600 to 1,200. Recovery hit 112. My battle resilience skill leveled up too, now boosting recovery by 12%. I felt refreshed, like all the fatigue just washed away. Reaching level 2 in under half a day, that's speed only someone like Qin Jishue could match in all of Yunhai City. And I was just getting started. My original goal was level 2 today, but now I changed my mind. I was going for level 3. I pushed deeper into the Breezewood Forest until I reached the edge of the safe zone. A bunch of level 1 and level 2 beasts were following me around, attacking nonstop. 0 damage, every single one. I didn't even look at them anymore. Beyond the safe zone was the Real Beast Forest. Huge ancient trees, thick fog, and no rules. Anything could be out there. The exam guide warned new fighters to stay away. But I wasn't worried. Even the strongest beast could only do 1 damage to me per hit, and if things got too rough, I could just run. I stepped past the boundary and into the valley. The beasts behind me froze, then scattered in fear. Whatever lived in there, they wanted no part of it. The valley was dark and quiet. Cold, damp air. No birds, no bugs. Then something big crashed out of the trees. A red tusk boar. Level 3. The thing was the size of a small hill with glowing red fur and tusks half a meter long. It looked at me, snorted, and I swear it looked disappointed, like I wasn't worth its time. A pig just looked down on me. Fine. I drew my blade. It charged. Its tusks scraped my arm, 1 damage. I hit back for 20. After that first exchange, it didn't attack again right away. It started circling me slowly, like a cat playing with a mouse. That annoyed me. I put my left hand behind my back, held my blade in just my right hand, and waved it forward. Come on then. The boar went crazy. It used its skill, Crimson Charge, and turned into a red blur. Its tusks slammed into my chest so hard the ground shook. 1 damage. It bounced off me like it hit a wall. While it was still dizzy, I swung 3 times. It charged again, furious. 1 damage again. I found its weak spot, the hind legs, and started hitting for 40 each time. The fight went on like that. It kept charging with everything it had. I kept taking 1 damage and hitting back. Eventually it went down. 26 experience points, a level 3 beast core, and a constitution rune stone. I couldn't use the rune stone yet since I didn't have any constitution gear, but once I sold today's beast cores, I'd have enough money to buy some. I did the math, 7 or 8 more level 3 beasts and I'd hit level 3. At this pace, I was definitely getting there today. I kept pushing deeper into the beast forest, hunting level 3 beasts one after another. Spirit stone monkeys, triangular lizards, earth moles, they all went down the same way. Hit me, do almost nothing, and I'd wear them out with my blade. I noticed the beasts in the deeper forest dropped rune stones more often. I got another strength rune stone and slotted it into my blade, bringing it up to 6. I checked my stats. I needed about 90 more experience to hit level 3, roughly 4 more beasts. The best part about my fighting style was how well it scaled. No matter what I fought, the most damage I'd ever take was 1. So as my constitution kept growing with each level, fights would get proportionally easier. At level 10 or 20, my health would be in the tens of thousands. I'd barely lose any health per battle. And with battle resilience constantly healing me, someday I might truly be unkillable. A C-rank passive skill that most people would overlook. In my hands, it worked as well as an S-rank one. Absolute defense plus battle resilience was a perfect combo. Then I heard something cold and sharp above me. My instincts screamed danger. I dodged sideways just in time as a twisted shadow dropped from the trees right where I'd been standing. A 2-headed rattlesnake. Level 4. 2 meters tall, blue-green scales, 2 heads with pale yellow eyes staring at me. Its ability was cross fangs, and its attacks carried poison. Poison, that's supposed to be the one thing defense can't block. It doesn't hit you with force. It seeps in and eats you from the inside. Every shield-type fighter in this world fears poison more than anything. It had already nicked my arm during its ambush. 1 damage. I watched the small wound carefully, waiting to see if the poison would spread. The snake watched too. Its whole strategy was ambush, poison, and wait. It expected me to start weakening any second. We stood there in silence for about a minute. Nothing happened. No poison spreading. No extra damage. My body's natural recovery closed the wound completely. The venom never got through. Absolute defense didn't just protect the surface. It blocked everything, including poison. I was completely immune to negative effects. If the poison couldn't break past my defense in the first place, it simply didn't exist. I smiled. Even the ugly two-headed snake in front of me looked a little less annoying now. But it still had to go. I charged at the two-headed rattlesnake and started swinging. Fighting something 2 levels above me meant my damage was low, only 15 per hit. But that didn't matter. The snake kept biting me, trying to pump me full of venom. 1 damage each time. It would attack, then stop and watch, waiting for the poison to kick in. It never did. Eventually, the snake ran out of venom completely. Once that happened, its fighting power dropped hard. It could only sit there and take my hits. By the end of the fight, I was actually in better shape than when it started, thanks to my recovery. I finished it off with a couple of clean strikes, 30 damage each. It dropped a level 4 beast core and something I didn't expect, a dungeon token. My eyes went wide. These things are incredibly rare. Some adventurers hunt for a whole year and never see one. And it wasn't just any token, it was a comprehensive dungeon token. Using it would mark a wild dungeon on my map. Wild dungeons are one-time challenges with better rewards than the permanent large dungeons. There are different types: treasure hunts, comprehensive, mysterious, and each one is basically a shot at finding something amazing. I used the token right away. The dungeon showed up on my map, but it was pretty far from where I was. I decided to save it for later, once I hit level 5. Back to grinding. I kept hunting level 3 beasts. Red-tailed foxes, more of the same. I was 1 kill away from level 3 with an hour of daylight left. Then I ran into a black armor rhinoceros. Level 5. The thing was built like a tank with thick black armor covering its whole body. I took a swing, 8 damage. It hit me back, 1 damage. I could technically wear it down, but it would take forever, and I'd burn through most of my health doing it. Not worth the risk. So for the first time all day, I did the smart thing. I turned around and ran. I took down one last blue-striped weasel and heard the level up chime. Level 3. My hands were numb from swinging all day, but I'd done it. 2 level ups on the first day. I was sure that would put me in the top 3 on today's rankings. My stats were looking solid. Constitution at 1,800 max, recovery at 169, and battle resilience had leveled up to 13% efficiency. Time to head back. On the way to the city, I ran into Qin Jixue and a girl walking with her. They'd just finished their day of fighting too. Qin Jixue was decked out in shimmering armor with a long sword. She looked like a real warrior. Then they both stared at me with weird expressions. I looked down and realized why. My clothes were completely shredded. I'd been brawling with beasts all day wearing no armor, just taking every hit. My outfit was in tatters. The wind blew and I basically looked like a beggar. Embarrassing. Qin Jixue actually laughed, covering her mouth. Then she did something unexpected. She cast Angel's Blessing on me. A soft golden light wrapped around me like a feathered cloak, and shimmering wings appeared on my back. All team members get a 20% attribute boost from it. And honestly, it covered up my rags and made me look pretty cool. SS rank classes really are something else. On the walk back, Qin Jixue asked if I'd been fighting alone. I said yes. She went quiet for a moment, then told me something important. She said mental potential can also awaken skills, not just profession levels. If your mental potential reaches 20%, there's a chance to unlock a mental skill. Mine was at 19%. So close. But even reaching 20% doesn't guarantee anything. You also need rare mental resources. And the way to get those? The graduation exam rankings. Level rankings, dungeon performance, overall placement. The top spots come with rare resources as rewards. That's why she said this month could change my fate. If I push hard enough to rank high, I might get the resources to awaken a mental skill. And apparently, mental skills are never weak. I thanked her. This information was huge. My decision to grind to level 3 on day 1 was exactly right. Top 3 on the leaderboard meant the best prizes. Back at the city outskirts, everyone was gathering around the guild camps, exhausted. Most teams hadn't even reached level 2. People were talking about how brutal the beasts were, and some fighters had actually gotten hurt, or worse. Nearby, Song Chuan and Jiang Yi were surrounded by admirers. People were praising Song Chuan as the strongest in the city and asking why he didn't team up with Qin Jishue. His face went stiff at that question. I could guess why. Song Chuan was awkwardly dodging questions about teaming up with Qin Jishue when we walked through the city gate. Me, Qin Jishue, and her companion. I was still wearing the angel's blessing effect, which made me look like I was dressed in glowing feathered robes. People immediately started whispering. They could see us walking and talking together, and the rumors from this morning suddenly seemed real. An SS rank and a C rank, actually teaming up. I found Sun Yang at the guild entrance. He was beaming. He'd reached level 2 and was really proud of himself. He asked what level I was. I said level 3. His face twitched. He didn't believe me. He thought I was losing it. Then the first day rankings dropped, and everyone went wild. Out of all the new fighters in Yunhai City, 191 people reached level 2 on day 1. Only 2 reached level 3. People couldn't believe it. Last year, nobody hit level 3 on the first day. Sun Yang made the list at 99th place and nearly lost his mind with excitement. He was jumping around like a monkey. I told him to calm down, but he said I wouldn't understand. For a regular guy like him, making the top 100 was something he'd brag about for a year. I patted his shoulder and promised I'd help him get on the dungeon rankings later. The rewards rolled out tier by tier. Jiang Yi landed at 11th, just outside the top 10. She looked crushed. Song Chuan, the S rank who tried to steal my team, came in 6th. His face went dark. Everyone expected him to be in the top 3 at least. The top 5 got revealed. 4th and 5th were 2 S-rank fighters from other schools who'd teamed up, an Abyss Mage and a Light Priest. Strong combo, but still not enough for the top spots. 3rd place was someone named Lin Wei, an A-rank contract master at level 2. Then the top 2 appeared on screen. 1st place, Qin Jishue, level 3. SS rank Holy Light Angel. Dawn Team. 2nd place, Chun Ming, level 3. C rank Shield Guardian. Dawn Team. That's me. A C rank, sitting in 2nd place above every S rank in the city. I could feel the silence around me. Nobody expected that. The whole place went dead quiet. Nearly 1,000 people were staring at the rankings, and nobody could process what they were seeing. Qin Jishue in 1st place. Sure, she's SS rank. But a C rank Shield Guardian in 2nd? People started asking who I was, how it was even possible for a C rank to level up twice on the first day. The crowd immediately decided Qin Jishue must have carried me. They figured she dragged me through battles and handed me free experience. Some people who'd actually seen me head to Breezewood Forest alone tried to correct them, but their voices got buried in the noise. Qin Jishue herself was surprised. The girl with her, Lin Wei, the 3rd place A-rank contract master, knew the truth. She'd been the one teaming up with Qin Jishue all day, not me. They both knew I'd soloed my way to level 3, and neither of them could figure out how I did it. Sun Yang was standing next to me with his mouth hanging open. He'd been ready to give me a pep talk about accepting reality, and now he was the one who needed a reality check. I just shrugged and said I told him so. Then the rewards came in, and they were incredible. 10 gold coins, 2 pieces of high-quality equipment with 15 attribute stones, 2 equipment empowerment books, and rare resources. I picked a stamina armor and agility boots. The Shadow Guard armor gave me 750 constitution, and the feathered boots added 15 agility. Those would make a big difference. Then I looked at the empowerment books. Armor penetration, accuracy, fire range boost. They all looked amazing. I wanted every single one of them. But I could only pick 2, so I told myself to relax. If I kept ranking high, I'd get more tomorrow. I picked empowerment books for my new gear. The boots got a sprint ability, doubles my agility for 1 minute with an hour cooldown. The armor got stealth, makes me invisible. Sprint plus stealth meant I could sneak up on enemies or escape when needed. Not bad at all. After equipping everything, my stats jumped up nicely. Constitution hit 2,550, and agility rose to 45. I was getting stronger fast. Then came the real prize, rare resources. Sun Yang was hovering over my shoulder, dying to see what was available. I scrolled through the list. Earth Spirit Stones for physical stats, Wood Spirit Mushrooms for recovery, Jade Cloud Fruits for strength. Most had no detailed descriptions, so you couldn't easily tell how valuable they were. Then I spotted it, a mind crystal. Mental energy material. Exactly what I needed to push my mental potential closer to 20% and maybe awaken a mental skill. I picked it without hesitation. It appeared in my hand, a tiny white crystal the size of a fingernail. Sun Yang leaned in and looked disappointed. He expected rare resources to glow like legendary treasures. This looked like a pebble. I told him the real good stuff doesn't always look impressive. After that, I went into the guild to sell my beast cores. I dumped 17 of them on the counter. The clerk glanced at the pile and said 1,700, assuming they were all level 1. I told her to look again. Her face changed fast. Level 2 cores, level 3 cores, and 1 level 4 double-headed rattlesnake core. She couldn't believe a first-day participant had hunted a level 4 beast. She apologized and recalculated. 4,500 total. I used 4,000 of that to buy 4 strength rune stones. The guild buys them for 600 each, but sells them for 1,000. Almost double the markup. Highway robbery, but I needed the power boost. I walked out with my 4 stones and 500 gold left in my pocket. Money disappears fast in this world. I went home, a small place, just me. My family died in a beast tide 10 years ago. I showered off the beast blood, ate dinner, and lay down. My body was fine. Health had never dropped below 10% all day and was almost full now. But mentally, I was drained. Fighting nonstop for hours takes a toll on the mind, even if the body holds up. I grabbed my phone to check the news. The big exam was all over the internet, and when I opened the Yunhai City section, the top 3 trending topics were all about me. One was about my second place ranking as a C rank. Another was about me and Qin Jishua being teammates. The third was speculation about our relationship. My group chats were blowing up with people asking questions and wanting to join the Morning Light squad. I ignored all of it and switched to the national trending page. The biggest story wasn't about the exam, it was a prophecy. An SS rank prophet named Master Bicombe had made his once-a-decade prediction. He said 2 things. First, that an era of heroes was coming, with more powerful classes awakening than ever before. Second, and this was the wild one, that Blue Star would eventually make contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. I was skeptical. Our world can barely handle the beasts on the ground, let alone explore space. The sky is full of dungeons and dangerous zones. We haven't even fully mapped our own planet. But then I looked at the other trending topics. An SSS rank pair of fighters had awakened for the first time in 30 years. A massive star dungeon had been discovered. Multiple provinces were producing S-rank awakeners at unusual rates. And the Lighthouse Alliance claimed they'd already contacted aliens. It all lined up eerily with the prophecy. I shook it off. That stuff was way above my level right now. I turned off my phone and took out the mind crystal I'd gotten from the ranking rewards. It sat on my fingertip, glowing faintly. I tried probing it with my mental energy, but couldn't read anything from it, even with my 19% potential. Whatever was inside, I need to reach 20% to unlock it. Qin Jishua had said that mental skills could change my fate. If even she, an SS rank, thought they were that powerful, they had to be something special. I stood up to start meditating. Improving mental potential takes constant practice, and it never stops being important. Higher potential means more mana, stronger active skills, and for me, possibly a whole new ability. I had work to do. I spent the whole night meditating. Once your mental potential passes 10%, meditation works even better than sleep for recovery. I could feel myself getting close to that 20% threshold. A warm current flowed through my mind as I practiced, and my mental exhaustion from the day melted away. I lost track of time completely. By morning, the second day of the exam had begun. Fighters were heading out of the city again. I'd made quite a stir. A C rank in second place was unheard of in the history of these exams. What I didn't know at the time was that a lot was happening behind the scenes. Up in a building overlooking the city border, a high-ranking inspector from the provincial government was meeting with all the school principals. He had a mechanical crow on his shoulder that spoke for him. He'd come to Yunhai City for one reason. The Alliance had set up a special assessment with team spots on the line. Only 2 team spots were available for the entire Jiangnan province. The principals from the 3rd and 5th schools, the ones whose grandsons were the 2 S-rank fighters in the Abyss squad, immediately started scheming. They wanted Qin Jishue to join their team. They figured an SS rank plus 2 S ranks would be unstoppable, and they pressured my school's principal, Principal Zhou, to make it happen. Principal Zhou from my school was in a tough spot. The other principals were mocking him, saying pairing an SS rank with a C rank was a waste. They argued that Yunhai City needed to combine its strongest fighters or risk losing to other cities that would bring full S-rank teams. They kept pushing, saying Qin Jishue would obviously choose 2 S ranks over a C rank like me. Principal Zhou stayed quiet. He didn't agree, but he didn't fight back either. I think he still believed in me, even if he couldn't say why. I meditated through the night, and when I opened my eyes, 20% mental potential. I'd broken through. 2 things unlocked immediately. First, mental space, a small pocket dimension in my mind, about the size of a room. I could store items in it just by thinking. No more carrying bags of gear and beast cores around. I tested it with my sword. It vanished from my hand and appeared inside the space. Second, mental probing got a massive upgrade. Before 20%, it was basic scouting. Now it was like having a god's eye view. I could see dust floating in the air, the slightest movement of curtains, every detail crystal clear. Then came the big surprise. A prompt appeared on my panel asking if I wanted to awaken a mental skill right now. No special resources needed. No difficult process. Just yes or no. Everyone said awakening mental skills was nearly impossible even at 20%. But for me, it was automatic. I almost laughed, but I held back. I took out the mind crystal from yesterday's rewards and absorbed its energy. It felt amazing, pure attribute energy flowing into me. But it was barely a drop in a huge empty pool. If rare resources affect the skill level you awaken, and I was sure they did, then I needed way more before I pulled the trigger. I wanted the highest possible grade. Patience. The problem was, I got so absorbed in training that I completely lost track of time. When I checked my phone, it was already 11 a.m. Half the day gone. I rushed to the city outskirts. People immediately started talking. Everyone else had been grinding since early morning, and here I was strolling in at noon. They figured Qin Jishue had dropped me, and I'd given up. Some laughed, some shook their heads. What I didn't know was that up in a tall building, the school principals were watching me too, along with a provincial inspector who'd come to select candidates for a special alliance assessment. Only 2 team spots were available for all of Jiangnan province. The other principals were mocking my school's Principal Zhou for letting a C-rank partner with an SS rank. But when I looked toward that building, I felt a powerful presence watching me. It vanished instantly. The inspector had apparently noticed something the principals missed, that I'd already hit 20% mental potential. That caught his attention. I headed straight for Breezewood Forest alone. People sighed, thinking I was going to fight weak level 1 beasts. Nobody imagined I'd go past the safe zone into the real beast forest. My blade now had strength 10, fully maxed out for basic equipment. I'd need higher quality gear to slot more rune stones. Fine quality holds 20, epic holds 30, and legendary or mythic even more. But those are hard to come by. I had to make up for lost time. My goal was level 5 by tonight and a top 3 finish on today's rankings. There were rare resources on the line, and I needed every one I could get. I checked my stats before heading out. With the shadow armor and feathered boots from the exam rewards, plus all the rune stones I'd slotted in, my numbers were finally looking respectable. Constitution at 2,550, agility at 45, strength at 40, and mental power at 360 with my new 20% potential. The shadow armor also had a stealth effect that let me blend into the forest, perfect for this environment. My only real weakness was still attack power. I needed active combat skills badly. I had 3 chances coming up, 1 mental skill awakening and 2 profession skills at level 10. At least one of them had to be an offensive ability. I spotted a Gale Mantis, level 5, dark green shell, arms like butterfly knives. Before hitting 20% mental potential, beasts always ambushed me first. Not anymore. I could sense it before it sensed me. I jumped off a tree trunk, silent as a shadow, and drove my blade straight into its eye. 76 damage. Weak spot on the first hit. The mantis shrieked and swung at me, But with my upgraded mental detection, its movements looked almost slow. My body couldn't quite keep up with what my brain saw, but it didn't matter. When it hit my neck with its razor-sharp arms, 1 damage. Metal on metal. The mantis just stared, completely confused. I went all out, targeting the eyes over and over. It tried to run when it couldn't take any more. I cut its head clean off. 71 experience points and a beast core. Not bad. I decided to push higher, level 6 monsters. The difference between 5 and 6 barely mattered to me now. With my mental detection and better gear, I figured I could handle enemies 4 or 5 levels above me. Then I found exactly what I wanted. 4 silverback monkeys, all level 6, surrounding me on a hillside. Giant silver fists the size of my head, 2 meters tall each. I didn't run. I didn't hide. I picked one and focused everything on it. Their fists slammed into me like hammers on an anvil. 1 damage. 1 damage. 1 damage. I just kept swinging at weak spots. 1 monkey went down, 90 experience. The other 3 went berserk, attacking from all directions at once. 1 leaped into the air and smashed down with both fists. The ground shook. Dirt flew everywhere. 1 damage. Before the dust settled, my blade was already carving into the next one. I took them all down, one by one. About 360 experience total from the group. I checked my health. 2,400 out of 2,600. Lost less than a tenth from fighting 4 level 6 beasts at once. I kept moving toward the dungeon location marked on my map. 2 more good fights, and I'd hit level 5. At this rate, I'd get there before evening and lock in another top 3 finish. Then I stumbled onto something interesting, 2 strange creatures fighting each other. A giant frog the size of half a person was tangled up with some kind of plant monster covered in vines and red spots, with a flower head full of sharp teeth. I spotted 2 beasts fighting, a giant frog and a creepy plant monster with vines and a flower head full of teeth. The frog was almost dead. Perfect timing. I pulled my sword from my mental space, rushed in, and chopped the frog's head clean off in 1 swing. 88 experience, easy. It felt great. One of those perfect strikes where everything just clicks. The plant monster wasn't happy. I'd stolen its meal. It came at me with whipping tentacles and sprayed some nasty dark red gas that killed every plant it touched. Poison, obviously, but I'm immune to all that. I breathed it in and felt nothing. I hacked away at it until I split its flower head open. 90 more experience. Level 4. My stats were climbing fast now. Constitution at 3,100, recovery at 230 per hour, and my battle resilience hit level 5. In a one-on-one fight against a level 6 beast, I could win and still be at full health afterward. The only thing that could theoretically threaten me was something with stats higher than mine attacking incredibly fast. But as my constitution kept growing, even that weakness would fade. I decided to get aggressive. Instead of searching for beasts, I started making noise on purpose to draw them to me. It worked beautifully. Level 7 frost foxes, wild bulls, black-scaled lizards. They came running, and I cut them all down. Each one gave over 100 experience. My bar was filling up like a rocket. Fighting things 3 levels above me and gaining this much experience, nobody else could do this. Normal teams stuck to beasts at their own level because anything higher meant risking death. For me, a level 7 beast could only do 1 damage per hit. Same as always. I slotted another agility rune stone into my boots, then realized I was starving. I hadn't eaten since morning. Level 4 isn't high enough to skip meals, and I learned yesterday that going hungry tanks your mental energy by the end of the day. So I pulled out a lighter from my mental space and started grilling a bull leg right there in the forest. The meat from strange beasts is incredible. No seasoning needed, better than anything from a normal kitchen. I was just enjoying my meal when 2 more beasts showed up, probably drawn by the smell. One was a golden-furred mouse. The other was a bull, the same species as the leg I was currently eating. I expected it to charge at me in a rage. Instead, it just stared at the grilled meat in my hand, swallowing hard. Even the beasts wanted a taste of my cooking. The 2 beasts completely ignored me. A level 4 human wasn't even worth their attention. They squared off against each other, ready to fight over territory or food or whatever beasts fight about. So I sat down, grabbed my grilled beef leg, and watched the show. Just a level 4 guy eating lunch while 2 level 7 beasts tore into each other a few meters away. If anyone had seen me, they'd think I was insane. 10 minutes later, I finished eating, stood up, burped, grabbed my sword, and mediated their dispute. The gold mouse went down first, 108 experience. Then the bull, 112. Both were already beat up from fighting each other, so they went down fast. Level 5. Finally. Now I could enter dungeons. I checked my map and saw the comprehensive dungeon location wasn't far ahead. I was hoping for something good, treasure hunt, mystery, anything with rare rewards. Outdoor wild dungeons give first clear bonuses that permanent large dungeons don't, so the loot is usually better. 15 minutes later, I reached the spot. My jaw dropped. The ground just fell away into a massive crater, a long crack stretching across the landscape, like someone had carved out a chunk of the earth. Thick fog covered the bottom. I couldn't see how deep it went. I didn't hesitate. With 3,800 health and the ability to handle anything below level 10, I jumped straight off the edge. I fell through cold, howling mist for what felt like forever. Then I hit the ground. 1 damage. I found the dungeon entrance, a shimmering light curtain between large rocks. My token glowed, wrapped around me, and suddenly I was inside. The Union Mountain Stream Dungeon. Mixed type, treasure hunt plus challenge. I needed to collect at least 10 rare energy materials and defeat 5 guardian beasts within 24 hours. Then I used my mental detection to scan the area and nearly choked. Within just 10 meters of where I stood, there were 3 rare resource plants. A green wood sprout for recovery, a red fruit for fire element, and a thick earth flower for constitution, all radiating pure energy. I absorbed the green wood sprout. Recovery attribute went up by 5. Then the thick earth flower, constitution, jumped by 50. The quality was excellent. The red fruit I kept. It was a fire element resource. Absorbing elemental materials would influence what kind of skill I'd awaken at level 10. I wasn't ready to commit to fire yet, so I stored it in my mental space for now. I could always sell it later if I didn't need it. 3 out of 10 collected, and I'd barely taken a step into this canyon. The place was huge, stretching out ahead of me with cliffs on both sides and strange plants everywhere. I'd struck gold. I kept exploring the canyon and found more rare plants. A tongshin grass that restored attributes, but I noticed something off about it. There was impure energy mixed in. Poison. Highly toxic, actually. I shrugged and ate it anyway. Plus 10 to my recovery attribute. Poison means nothing to me. Next I found a wind whisper orchid, a wind element plant that boosts agility. But right as I reached for it, something attacked me from the fog. Fast, sneaky, and almost invisible. I swung first. That's always my instinct now. Don't think, don't defend, just hit. It was a wind spirit. Level 7, but way stronger than normal level 7 beasts. They called it a strange beast, which is a special category for unusually powerful creatures. This thing controlled wind like a weapon, wind blades, transparent needles, sonic screams that messed with your head. Its speed was insane, and it fought like something closer to level 9. The wind blades pelted me nonstop. 1 damage each, over and over. The real problem was hitting it back. The thing danced through the air like a torn piece of cloth, constantly shifting and impossible to pin down. My normal agility couldn't keep up, so I activated sprint from my feathered boots. Agility doubled to over 130 for 1 minute. I shot forward like a rocket and started landing clean hits, 55 damage each. I bounced off walls, changed direction midair, and chased it down relentlessly. Half a minute later, it was dead. 150 experience points, way more than normal level 7 monsters. And the drops were amazing. A beast core, 2 agility rune stones, and a tier 1 crystal. Crystals can upgrade equipment from tier 1 to tier 2. Those usually only come from dungeon completion rewards, not regular monster kills. This dungeon was special. I couldn't use the crystal yet. Tier 2 gear requires level 10. But I stored it in my mental space for later. I slotted the 2 agility stones into my boots, bringing them to 18. I grabbed the Wind Whisper Orchid and kept it stored too. Wind element wasn't something I needed to decide on right now. 1 guardian beast down, for more to go. If each one dropped loot like this, I was in for a great night. My mental strength at 20% meant I could go days without sleeping, so I had no plans to leave. I was going to clear this entire dungeon tonight. Meanwhile, back at the city, everyone else was just reaching level 2 on their second day and feeling proud of themselves. I was already level 5, deep inside a wild dungeon, hunting strange beasts and collecting rare resources by the handful. For ordinary people, dungeon rewards are the most attractive. In large dungeons, the information about the beasts is known, so there are no surprises. This means safer leveling. Also, those who can't afford equipment can get gear and resources from dungeons. Some dungeons even offer rare resources. I heard that the two S-rank transferers from 3rd and 5th high school already got the rune stones from outdoor dungeons, just waiting to reach level 5 to challenge them. Outdoor dungeons? Someone exclaimed. Yes, it seems a B-rank transferer killed a beast and sold the rune stone to the Abyss squad for 200,000. TSK. If it were me, I'd keep it for myself. Rewards from outdoor dungeons are very rich, maybe even rare treasures. A wave of envy and admiration spread among the crowd. For ordinary people, outdoor dungeons can be both an opportunity and a danger. At this moment, a commotion comes from the city gate. It's Qin Jishue. Qin Jishue is back. As the top-ranked player on the first day, Qin Jishue is undoubtedly considered the #1 in Yunhai City among all the transfer students. Wherever she goes, she attracts attention. However, when people see Qin Jishue returning with a young girl, they become a bit excited. Hey, Qin Jishue didn't come with Chunming today. Bro, you're too slow to get the news. Don't you know Qin Jishue already gave up on leveling up with Chunming? No way, really. Chunming only arrived at the city border around noon. Looks like he was hit hard. Some people who saw Chunming earlier at noon get excited and want to tell everyone. People talk among themselves, discussing constantly. Most are happy to see Qin Jishue and Chunming break their connection. Everyone is an ordinary person, and many have higher levels than Chunming. Why can you team up with an SS-level player and get carried to earn rewards? How are we supposed to feel balanced? If you've awakened an ordinary-level profession, just be an ordinary person. But luckily, it seems Qin Jishue only took Chunming with her for one day. At the city gate, Qin Jishue returns from the suburbs, ready to enter the city. Miss, today went very smoothly. The goal was perfectly achieved. Behind her, Lin Wei crosses her arms, smiling brightly. Qin Jishue, dressed in white, stops her steps. Her black hair shines with a glossy luster. She looks more angelic, as if she is radiating pure light. We only completed the basic goal, Weier. Don't get complacent. Lin Wei sticks out her tongue and pouts. Got it. But miss, you shouldn't put too much pressure on yourself. You've awakened an SS-level profession, so in the future, Qin Jishue remains silent, not speaking, and continues walking forward. Seeing this, Lin Wei sighs helplessly and quietly follows. As they step into the city, two men approach. The leader wears a long robe with faint gold patterns, looking elegant and refined. Miss Qin, we've heard of you for a long time. Let me introduce myself. I am Wu Qingyang, and this is Wang Yan. He pointed to the tall man behind him. They are both S-level transmuters from the Abyss squad. Do you need something? Lin Wei glanced at the two and asked calmly. We are all top-ranked transmuters of this batch, and we might have many social connections in the future. I'll be straightforward. Wu Qingyang smiled and spoke, trying to subtly build a friendly relationship. Then he directly asked Qin Jishue to join the Abyss squad. He also mentioned the special assessment for this year's big test. This test is limited to small teams, and there are only 2 spots in Jiangnan province, so the difficulty is clear. Wu Qingyang's goal was to remind Qin Jishue to form a good team. There are 3 S-level transmuters in Yunhai City. Joining their Abyss squad seems like the best choice. But before he finished, he was cut off by a cold, dismissive voice. I already have a team. You should look elsewhere. After learning their intention, Qin Jishue refused directly. She didn't wait for the Abyss squad to respond and simply walked away. Wu Qingyang hadn't reacted yet. Wang Yan, who had been silent, suddenly stepped forward and blocked her path. From the start, Wang Yan's eyes had been fixed on Qin Jishue. He had only heard of Qin Jishue from one middle school and hadn't paid much attention. After all, before transmutation, being famous was just a name. But just now, seeing her in person, he was stunned. When he heard Qin Jishue refused to join the Abyss squad, Wang Yan became anxious. Is it because of Chunming? He remembered what Qin Jishue said earlier and immediately thought of Chunming. From yesterday's ranking information, only Chunming's team had that name. He's a C-level loser who only holds you back. Wu Qingyang echoed. This competition is especially fierce. If you bring a C-level transmuter, you won't be able to compete with the full S-level teams from other cities. I thought Qin Jishue had already given up on Chun Ming and left the Mingchen team. But unexpectedly, there was a twist. At that moment, a notification popped up in front of everyone. The results of the second day exam are now available. Scope: Yunhai City. Number of Level 2 transmuters, 762. Number of Level 3 transmuters, 15. Number of Level 4 transmuters, 6. Number of Level 5 transmuters, 2. Finally, the rankings are out. Wow, today's data is so explosive, someone exclaimed in surprise. Of course, the first day is always the most awkward. Ordinary transmuters almost reached Level 2. Advanced transmuters nearly reached Level 3. So the second day saw a big jump. But the key point is, there are 2 people at Level 5. As soon as this was said, the atmosphere fell into a brief silence. People looked at each other, all thinking of the same name. Because yesterday, the same situation occurred. The highest-ranked people at the top levels were 2, and one of them was Chun Ming. Could it be Chun Ming again this time? No way, absolutely not. Wow, this feels so good. I've been rewarded for 2 days in a row. The real changes are probably still among the top 15. Soon, the rankings were announced one after another. 6th place, Song Chuan, Level 4, S-Class Battle Spirit Pioneer, 7th place. Wang Tung, Level 4, A-Class Earth Child. 15th place. No way Song Chuan is still 6th? Wow, Level 4 and still 6th. Is this serious? In previous years, a Level 4 ranking in the next day's big test could easily put someone in 1st place. But this year, they're already in 6th place. This year must be full of monsters. Everyone is so talented. How are they leveling up so fast? As an S-Class transfer, I should be enjoying the best rewards, but I've been stuck in 6th place for 2 days. This is so unfair, I definitely couldn't accept this. Many people looked at Song Chuan with sympathy as he walked out of a group's entrance. At the same time, Song Chuan saw his ranking. His face immediately fell. He had worked so hard to level up today, thinking that Level 4 would keep him in the top 5. But he only stayed the same? Wait, this script feels so familiar. Finally, someone realized something was wrong. Why was the ranking at the front unchanged from yesterday? Before anyone could think further, the ranking information flickered again and changed. 1 SD place. Chun Ming, Level 5, C-Class Shield Guard, Dawn Team, 2 ND place. Qin Jishue, Level 5, SS-Class Holy Light Angel, Dawn Team, 3 RD place. Lin Wei, Level 4, A-Class Contract Master, for TH place. Wang Yin, Level 4, S-Class Abyss Mage, Abyss Team, 5 TH place. Wu Qingyang, Level 4, S-Class Light Priest, Abyss Team at the city's border. Above the major guilds and group camps, large screens displayed the rankings. Besides this year's Awakened transfer students, many others were also paying close attention to the big test. Now, when all the rankings were revealed, not only the transfer students, but everyone fell silent. Everyone was staring wide-eyed at the top spot, where the large characters, Chun Ming, were displayed. Right behind was C-Level Shield Guard, which was so eye-catching. 1st place. Who? Chun Ming? Wow, am I seeing things? No. Buddy this. Actually, when they saw that Song Chuan was still in 6th place today, many had already guessed that Chun Ming might still be in the top 5. He had already reached Level 3 yesterday. If he was close to reaching Level 4, then leveling up by 1 more was reasonable. After all, rankings are based on time. But they never expected this result. It was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. A C-level shield guard surpassing all other transmuters in Yunhai City, even beating SS-level transmuters and taking 1st place. Who would believe that? Wow. Miss, Chun Ming is actually higher than you. Behind Qin Jishue, Lin Wei's eyes widened, sparkling with shock. She knew very well that today, Miss had fought many monsters to reach Level 5, even venturing into the monster forest to hunt high-level monsters. But Chun Ming was ranked even higher. This meant Chun Ming was leveling up faster than Qin Jishue. Has he already awakened a mental-type skill? Qin Jishue looked at the ranking, deep in thought. Suddenly, Lin Wei had an idea. She looked at Wang Yin and Wu Qingyang with a strange expression. Seeing Lin Wei's teasing gaze, Wang Yin and Wu Qingyang froze in place. They felt uncomfortable all over. Just earlier, they called Chun Ming a waste. Now, with the ranking announced, the person they called a waste was in first place. Does that mean they are even more useless? They just embarrassed themselves. Is this real? Finally, someone couldn't hold back and questioned. I think so too. How is this possible? Could there be a problem with the ranking? This caused a big stir. The ranking can't be wrong. The problem is Chun Ming. Wow. He probably teamed up with high-level transfer students and cheated to level up, right? Hearing this, Wang Yin seemed to realize something important, and his eyes lit up. Exactly. Chun Ming must have cheated. He's only a C level. How could he have such results? I think he probably used some tricks to avoid detection during the big exam. Cheating during the big exam happens every year in a few cases. For example, teaming up with non-participating transfer students to level up together, or having a high-level transfer student weaken a beast, then finishing it off to gain easy experience. But in every case, they are immediately expelled from the big exam and banned for life from the alliance ratings. There is zero tolerance for cheating in the big exam. After Wang Yin stirred things up, the doubts grew louder. Everyone was reassured. Don't worry, I will report this and investigate clearly. Cheaters will be punished. We must do our duty. Wang Yan's grandfather is the principal of the third school, who has the power to communicate with the alliance leaders. Once he said this, many people felt relieved. Some even started looking for Chun Ming, hoping he would come forward to clarify. But no one could find Chun Ming anywhere near the border. Where is Chun Ming? He hasn't come back since noon after entering the beast forest. I've been at the border all afternoon, said a transfer student wrapped in bandages. He was injured fighting beasts in the morning and spent the afternoon resting at the border. Chun Ming didn't come back? Is he still outside the city? Doesn't that make the cheating suspicion even stronger? Transfer students above level 10 wouldn't dare stay in the beast forest at night, let alone a level 5. Meanwhile, on a tall building nearby, a bunch of ignorant people. The mechanical crow on the patrol officer's shoulder snorted coldly. They dare to question the validity of the big exam. How stupid can they be? Behind him, several principals looked embarrassed. The principal of the third school looked especially grim, with a shameful expression, because the loudest among them was his grandson, Wang Yan. As the principal, I naturally know more about the big exam information. The big exam replica is not just about evaluating awakened transmuters each year. In fact, the big exam is just one of the many functions in the Alliance's super-large replica. This was created by the strongest person in China himself. Its main purpose is to defend against invasions from outside the Alliance. Creating a whole territory replica that covers the entire Alliance requires incredible power beyond what ordinary people can imagine. Cheating? Saying that word is almost like questioning the authority of the entire Alliance. And the key point is, it's all happening right in front of the inspector. Just as a few principals were thinking about what to say or whether to step in, they suddenly saw a crow on the inspector's shoulder fly up. It landed on the window edge, its metallic eyes flashing with dark light, then projected a light screen. Do you want to activate permission to check big exam information? Inspector's identity confirmed. Target: Chun Ming. At the city border, more and more people are starting to doubt Chun Ming's results. Some are even criticizing and insulting him. At this moment, a buzzing sound comes from above. This instantly catches everyone's attention. Looking up, they see a huge light screen projected over the entire border area. What's going on? What does this light screen mean? Is it going to reveal something? Next, words begin to appear on the screen. Transmuter information being retrieved. Yinhai City, Yinhai Number 1 Middle School, Chun Ming. Details of the big exam being accessed. Chun Ming's big exam details? His results are so amazing that it caused the light screen to appear. Wow, did he really cheat? At this moment, the crowd erupts. Everyone's thoughts are the same. Chun Ming might have really cheated. Otherwise, the big exam replica wouldn't be checking his details personally. But as the information on the screen gradually appears, people start to notice something strange. Location: Breeze Forest, safe zone outside Yinhai City. Defeated Spike Rolling Beast, level 1. Gained 6 experience points. Time: Day 1, 9:59 a.m. Location: Breeze Forest, safe zone outside Yunhai City. Defeated Spike Rolling Beast, level 2. Gained 15 experience points. Time: Day 1, 2:09 p.m. Class Changer Chun Ming advanced to level 2. Time: Day 1, 2:45 p.m. Location: First level Monster Forest. Defeated Crimson Howl Pig, level 3. Gained 26 experience points. Time: Day 1, 5:32 p.m. Class Changer Chun Ming advanced to level 3. On the light screen, there are maps displayed, forming a path diagram. Next to them, various texts appear. All are detailed reports about Chun Ming's level-ups and monster kills. This includes locations, times, and experience points gained. As the dense information keeps appearing, everyone falls silent. Those who previously doubted Chun Ming's achievements stop talking. Among the crowd, Wang Yan, who led the charge, looks very angry. His face is red, and his expression is unpleasant, like he ate a bitter fly. Clearly, the purpose of the light screen showing the exam results isn't to verify Chun Ming's performance. It's to respond to everyone's doubts. It even displays detailed information about Chun Ming. Awesome. Except for the first monster being level 1, all the others are level 2. Look at Chun Ming's route. He entered the monster forest on the first day. Level 3? Wow, he fought level 3 monsters on the first day? Did he really kill level 4 monsters too? Isn't that impossible for a human? Now, everyone's attention finally shifts back to Chun Ming's level up info. But once they see what Chun Ming did on the first day, no one can stay calm. He's soloing each monster for experience. Finally, someone notices the key point. From the experience data, it's clear that Chun Ming was always fighting alone. He defeated each monster by himself. Although I couldn't see the actual scene, watching the map, Chun Ming boldly charged into the monster forest, killing high-level monsters one after another. It was surprisingly exciting. At this moment, everyone's doubts about Chun Ming disappeared. Instead, they felt anticipation. Yes, anticipation. They looked forward to the second day's information release about Chun Ming. They wanted to see what Chun Ming could really do. At the city border, everyone stopped to watch. Soon, Chun Ming's information appeared on the light screen for the second day. Time: Day 2, 11:35 a.m. Location: Level 1 Monster Forest. Killed Wind Mantis, LV.5. Gained 71 experience. Time: Day 2, 1:03 p.m. Location: Level 1 Monster Forest. Killed 4 Silverback Monkeys, LV.6. Gained 358 experience. Time: Day 2, 2:09 p.m. Chun Ming, the class changer, reached level 4. Time: Day 2, 4:42 p.m. Chun Ming reached level 5. Time: Day 2, 5:29 p.m. Location: Level 1 Monster Forest. Killed Wind Spirit, LV.7. Gained 150 experience. The information suddenly stopped here. Chun Ming's last update was at 5:29 p.m. That means, just half an hour ago, Chun Ming was still leveling up in the monster forest. Level 7. A level 5 class changer, killing a level 7 monster. Not only that, I saw that when he was still level 4, he had already killed a level 7. In the sky, after announcing Chun Ming's second day upgrade information, the light screen suddenly disappeared without warning. It came quickly and went just as fast, but the shock it brought to everyone was enormous. The entire border area fell into a strange silence for a few minutes. Is he really a C-grade shield guard? Could he have a hidden profession and it just shows a C-grade? Or maybe he's the legendary dual profession user. People once again doubted Chun Ming. This time, it wasn't about his achievements. They questioned whether Chun Ming had a hidden or dual profession. In a corner of the crowd, Sun Yang quietly picked up his phone. He sent a message to Chun Ming. Brother Chun, where are you? There's a lot of talk about you outside now. Chun Ming knew nothing about what was happening on the city border. On the other side, Yun In Mountain Stream Dungeon. Time quickly passed. Defeated the Twin Stone Giants, level 7. Experience 125. Obtained. Twin Stone Giant. Beast Core, level 7. Obtained. Vitality Rune Stone 1. At a fork under a huge broken wall, the fierce battle ended. Chun Ming stepped on broken stones and dug out a stone heart flower from the rock wall. Then he put down his sword and sat on the ground. Phew. After continuous intense fighting, even with Chun Ming's incredible stamina, he was starting to feel tired. We're almost at the end of the canyon. He looked ahead at a narrow opening covered in faint blue mist. In front of the narrow opening, a small path stretched into the deepest part of the canyon. During his rest, Chun Ming checked his quest progress. 1. Treasure Hunt. Collect more than 10 energy attribute materials. Progress, 17/10. 2. Challenge. Successfully defeat more than 5 guardian monsters. Progress, 5 out of 5. I've collected 17 rare resources. 10 of these were rare resources without elemental power, which Chun Ming had already absorbed. The rest he kept for now. Chun Ming used his mental energy to scan his spiritual space. Red fruit, fire element power attribute, breeze orchid, wind element agility attribute. Nourishing yuan fruit, wood element physique attribute, flowing light wood core, light element power attribute, he smiled. Quite a harvest. There was a feeling of satisfaction like a miser. These rare resources were quite valuable. If Chun Ming decided to sell them, he could make a lot of money. So far, the goal of defeating the special treasure-guarding beast has been achieved 5 times. Unfortunately, the later beasts are just ordinary ones, with no special features. The items dropped after defeating them are also average, only a strength runestone and a recovery runestone. Both conditions are completed, but the dungeon isn't finished yet. It seems there are still more things ahead. Chun Ming plans to rest for a moment before continuing to explore the deepest part. At that moment, a notification pops up in front of him. Second day of the big test ranking. First place. Reward for ranking. 10 gold coins. 2 first-tier high-quality equipment. Attribute runestones 15. Type optional. 2 equipment empowerment books. Type optional. 2 rare resources. Type optional. Wow, I got the reward. For the big test, and I'm in first place. Chun Ming's expression flickers as he opens to check. Being in first place shows that his current level-up speed has already surpassed Qin Jixue. Today's reward includes 2 rare resources. That's good. Chun Ming feels happy. Although he has already collected 17 in the canyon, rare resources are never enough. The more rare resources he absorbs, the higher the skill level when he reaches level 10. He already has an SSS level pre-made skill, but the awakening skill linked to his C-level shield guard profession still needs rare resources to upgrade. Most importantly, Chun Ming really wants spiritual type rare resources. He hasn't found any in the canyon yet. Huh? They're gone. Chun Ming looks at the panel in front of him, surprised. He just chose a mind crystal. Just as he was about to pick another, the mind crystal suddenly turns gray. Was it taken? The only explanation is that this spiritual resource has been snatched up. After all, the big test rewards are for the entire alliance. Millions of transfer students are competing. Even if only 3 transfer students in each city can choose rare resources, that's still a lot. The main reason is that among the rare resources offered, only the mind crystal is related to the spiritual type. It seems many people know how valuable spiritual rare resources are, and they all want to get this one. But it seems normal enough. People who rank in the top 3 in each city are almost all geniuses. Geniuses naturally have pride and want to awaken more powerful skills. Mental skills are definitely a big temptation. Most people cannot awaken this ability, but if I could, that would be amazing. That said, Chun Ming still felt a bit disappointed. Although the amount of mind crystal given was a bit stingy, at least he received some. He urgently needed rare mental resources right now. Guess I'll have to wait and see later. As the competition progresses, the rewards get better and more valuable items will appear. Especially the final reward. Shaking his head, Chun Ming decided to choose another rare resource. A palm-sized mineral emitting a bright red glow. It's a strength-type resource, not involving elemental power. Using his mental strength, Chun Ming checked and found its quality was similar to the rare resources he found in the canyon. Strength 1. After absorbing this rare resource, Chun Ming began selecting equipment and empowerment books. Currently, he has on him a common-grade long sword, a fine-quality armor, agile boots. Let's boost strength and recovery attributes. Thinking for a moment, Chun Ming decided to choose fine-quality equipment for strength and recovery. The bonus from the normal long sword's runestone had already reached the limit of 10. To further increase strength, he needed to switch to fine quality gear. Recovery was also one of his important attributes. Recovery bracelet, recovery 75. Quick heal, recovery equipment empowerment passive ability. When the wearer's physique is below 50%, triggers 50% recovery. Lasts 1 hour, with a 1-hour cooldown. After putting on the equipment, Chun Ming started choosing strength gear. Shattered rock knife, strength 15. While selecting a strength empowerment book, he suddenly found something good. Bloodthirst, strength equipment empowerment active ability, 50% strength, minus 50% defense. Lasts 1 hour, with a 1-hour cooldown. Caution advised for job changers. Chun Ming's eyes lit up. Clearly, this empowerment effect was purely a risk-taking ability. The physical attributes are very important for those who change jobs, as they directly affect their real-life force. To increase attack power, some might accept lower defense and take more damage. Most normal job changers would never do this. That's why the description of this equipment enhancement book clearly marks defense minus 50% in bright red. It's a warning for job changers to be careful. But Chun Ming is different. Defense minus 50%? Seeing this, he smiles harmlessly. Sorry, his defense attribute is a bug-level glitch. In fact, he doesn't really have a defense attribute at all. Wow, this ability is great. This enhancement suits me perfectly. Chun Ming immediately chooses this equipment enhancement book. Do you want to continue with this equipment enhancement? Reminder, this enhancement has a debuff effect. Confirm. A debuff? That doesn't exist. I don't have it, so how can you reduce it? Even if you reduce it by 100%, I wouldn't be affected. After obtaining the item, Chun Ming applies the enhancement to his broken rock blade. Ding. The moment the enhancement is applied, the broken rock blade trembles. Next, a visible blood-red pattern begins to spread from the tip of the blade. It gradually covers the entire blade. Looks like some kind of dark magic. Chun Ming mutters, then picks up the broken rock blade and looks at it from side to side. He doesn't feel anything special. Maybe the real effect only shows when fighting and using the bloodthirst skill. Chun Ming wanted to test the effect, but held back. The cooldown for this ability is an hour, which is a bit long. But the duration is also an hour, so it's enough. After testing the feel of the weapon, Chun Ming puts it into his space. Then he takes out the reward, a spirit crystal. It's still the size of a fingernail, nowhere near the amount of other rare resources. Chun Ming closes his eyes and concentrates, using his mental power to absorb. Crack. In less than a minute, the crystal in his hand shatters into grayish-brown powder. Still no increase in mental attributes. Chun Ming frowned. With the spirit crystal he obtained yesterday, he had absorbed 2 mental resources. However, he had not gained even a 1 boost in mental strength. Other rare resources, whether from major exams or found in the canyon, usually provided a stat increase after just 1 absorption. It's not that Chun Ming desperately wanted the mental strength boost. It's just that he felt like he was making no progress at all, no sense of improvement. After absorbing 2 resources, it felt like playing around, like throwing water into a pond. He wasn't sure if it was because he had too little energy or if mental attributes are naturally hard to increase. And this was just from 2 days' worth of rewards. If he accumulated a whole month of mental resources from the big exam, it still might not significantly strengthen his awakening skills. No, I need to find other ways, he thought. Relying only on exam rewards probably isn't enough. Chun Ming also wanted to fill the water pool he had started. But from what he saw now, even after a month of the big exam, he might not gather enough to make a small pond. No wonder it's so hard for ordinary people to awaken mental skills. Not only is resource gathering difficult, but progress is painfully slow. Compared to awakening other skills, this is hardly a small challenge. After resting, Chun Ming set out again. He headed toward the last area of the canyon. He entered a narrow passage shrouded in fog, where visibility was very low. The fog was thick, and he could even feel the moisture in the air when breathing. If a fight broke out here, relying only on sight would put us at a big disadvantage, he thought. The dense fog made it almost impossible to see anything clearly, and it couldn't be dispersed easily. If it weren't for Chun Ming's mental strength surpassing 20, which greatly enhanced his mental detection, he might easily get lost in this place. There's something ahead, he noticed. He looked forward, where the fog seemed strange. His mental probe detected a very strong energy. Following the direction, he reached the area. It was a small dirt hill. To the naked eye, it just looked like an ordinary mound of earth. When Chun Ming used his mental power to scan, he saw a different scene. Above the dirt slope, there was a layer of twisted air. It looked like air heated by high temperatures. As Chun Ming approached, he could feel the heat. It was like a wave of hot air hitting his face. He quickly walked up the slope and looked carefully. At the top of the pit, there was a small hole. The walls around it were smooth and shiny, as if carefully polished. In the center, there was a dense cloud of energy surrounding something. There's definitely something here. Chun Ming's spirit was excited. Just from the appearance, he could tell it was unusual. He used his mental power to explore the energy cloud and see what it was. In the next moment, Chun Ming's eyes widened. Rare mental resource. Inside the energy cloud was a small, unusual flame. It was pale white, with a blue tail flame flickering at the top. Although it wasn't a real object, Chun Ming could feel the energy inside. It was just like the mind crystal, and it was on a completely different level. This tiny blue flame contained a huge amount of pure, powerful energy. Chun Ming estimated that the mental energy inside was at least 10 times that of the mind crystal. I didn't expect this dungeon to surprise me at the end. Chun Ming looked happy. Just as he was about to reach out, he suddenly sensed a dangerous feeling. In the next second, a faint sense of heartbeat fluttered in his chest. But this feeling disappeared quickly. -1. Mental damage. Huh. Chun Ming was surprised. This was the first time he had been hurt mentally. Soon, Chun Ming locked onto the attacker. It was a ghostly fire hidden in the mist in the air. Flame Spirit, level, LV8, abilities, fire control, mental piercing, description, a powerful strange beast, born from flames, naturally gifted with strong mental abilities. When a person reaches 20% mental strength, they can awaken mental skills. This strange beast has clearly awakened its own mental skill. Wow, it's a dual cultivator of magic and martial arts. In the world of exotic beasts, this is probably considered very talented. Chun Ming took out his broken rock dagger, his eyes shining. Perfect. I want to test the effect of your bloodthirsty empowerment. In midair, the flame spirit had already charged forward. It was very fast, its long tail flame cutting through thick fog as it attacked Chun Ming with great force. At the same time, several fireballs gathered around it. The huge flames instantly ignited in the canyon. It used fire as its main element. This kind of attack is both powerful and intimidating. It makes enemies afraid to get close and fight. But unfortunately, it was Chun Ming. -1. Chun Ming paid no attention to the flames almost covering his entire body. He kept his focus straight ahead. Then he swung his sword at the approaching flame spirit with a powerful strike. -60. Chun Ming's strike was very clean and sharp. Poof! His long sword cut through the flames in front of him and hit the flame spirit. A hot wave of energy rose up. The flame spirit, angry, quickly pulled back, its flames burning fiercely. This human doesn't follow the usual tactics. His defense attribute is quite high. After the attack, Chun Ming frowned slightly. If it were a normal level 8 exotic beast, with his current strength, he could easily defeat it. But this flame spirit was much stronger than a normal beast. With dual skills, it might have reached the level of a level 10 beast. This was no longer just a 5-level jump. It was a leap to a whole new level. Most importantly, this flame spirit had mental attack abilities. Compared to physical attributes, mental strength is much lower. Without hesitation, Chun Ming tightened his grip on the broken rock dagger. The faint red patterns on the blade suddenly became more visible. Empower with bloodthirsty. Strength attribute 50%. The huge boost made Chun Ming feel a surge of power inside him. However, in the next moment, he felt another strange power coming from the broken rock knife in his hand. A faint blood energy emanated from the long sword, wrapping around his palm. Chun Ming instinctively realized that this was a type of energy with a weakening effect. Then, nothing else happened. This blood energy with a weakening effect circled around Chun Ming's entire arm, as if he was lost in confusion. Finally, the blood energy entered Chun Ming's body. Like a drop of water in the ocean, it caused no ripple or disturbance. The weakening effect was ineffective. Suddenly, a wave of heat hit him. The flame spirit launched another attack on Chunming. A fireball several meters wide crashed down, its bright flames almost illuminating the night fog. The entire canyon brightened a little. At the same time, above its fiery body, a pair of strange glowing eyes appeared, shining faintly. A dark light shot toward Chunming at high speed. It attacked both physically and mentally. A double attack. The huge fireball came from above, looking like a sea of fire rushing toward Chunming. At the same time, a feeling of dread returned. Chunming still faced the challenge bravely, rushing straight into the attack range. His only target was the true body of the flame spirit. -1. -1. Mental damage. The big fireball exploded with a bang as it covered Chunming. The flames burst open like a flower blooming, scattering in all directions, burning the surrounding rocks red. Seeing that his attack covered the human below, the flame spirit let out a few sharp sounds. Ha ha ha! Laughter echoed through the canyon. Foolish human, daring to face its skill like this. But in the next second, the flame spirit was stunned. Because after the flames subsided, the figure holding the long sword was still standing below, unharmed. He was wrapped in faint blood energy, walking straight through the wall of fire, ignoring the flames nearly burning his face. Fire powerful enough to burn through rocks had no effect at all. -90. While the flame spirit was momentarily stunned, Chunming's attack had already arrived. After entering the bloodthirsty state, he seemed to gain a fierce aura, moving forward without hesitation. -90. The crimson sword light cut into the flame spirit, destroying part of its fiery body and sparking some flames. This ability is so useful. Seeing that the damage was more than half higher, Chunming was very pleased. In the future, he should pay attention to the bloodthirsty enhancement. This is only the first level of the bloodthirsty power-up. Higher levels will surely have even greater boosting effects. Although more boosts might also bring more negative effects, for Chunming, it's just pure enhancement. It's incredibly satisfying. Buzz! At this moment, a strange vibration came through. Chunming felt his mind become fuzzy, and his vision blurred for a moment. But soon, he shook off the influence, and his eyes cleared. He looked carefully. It seemed that the flame spirit was using some kind of mental skill. All the flames on its body turned dark and eerie, looking like a ghost. When it saw Chunming quickly break free from control, it was stunned. -90. Before it could think, it was struck by a sword. The flame spirit was completely furious. It didn't hesitate and launched its strongest attack, a mental spike. A dark, sharp spike formed from a strange glow, and it instantly appeared in front of Chunming, ignoring the distance. The spike pierced into Chunming's forehead without any obstacle. -1. Mental damage. It was a hit. Seeing this, the flame spirit was overjoyed. This human would soon have a mental breakdown and become a useless. -180. It was met with a simple, straightforward strike. Clink. The flame spirit let out a furious howl. What's wrong with this human? Physical attacks don't work, and mental attacks don't work either. A human transmuter shouldn't be so fragile, breaking at the slightest touch. Huh, why did the damage double? Seeing the double damage, Chunming was a bit confused. Did he accidentally hit the weak spot of this strange beast? He looked at the flame spirit, noticing that its fiery body was no longer as vigorous as before, looking somewhat wilted. The mental attack skill just now used up too much of his mental energy. Simply put, it drained him. Seeing this, Chunming sped up his attack. -180. -1. -180. -1. Mental damage. Snick. -180. Killed flame spirit. LV.8. Experience 200. Obtained. Flame spirit beast core. LV.8. Obtained. 2 power runes. 1 mental rune. Obtained. Level 1 crystal, another crystal, and a mental rune. Chunming's face lit up with joy. Now he has 2 level 1 crystals. After reaching level 10, he can directly upgrade his 2 current equipment items to level 2. No need to buy new level 2 gear. The Flame Spirit's beast core should be quite special, right? Looking at the beast core in his hand, Chunming fell into thought. It's a strange beast with mental skills, so its beast core must be unusual. For example, making mental energy gear requires this kind of beast core. This can't be sold cheaply, Chunming muttered to himself. Or, he could give the beast core to the guild and pay a commission to craft a mental energy gear. In the normal market, mental energy gear is rare, and mental runes are hard to find. If Chunming wants the guild to craft mental gear, he will have to spend a lot on mental runes. Killing strange beasts to get mental runes isn't very practical. Not to mention, beasts with mental abilities are rare, and even if he kills one, it might not drop a rune. Saving up little by little could take forever. After storing the beast core, Chunming added 2 strength runes to his broken rock knife. Strength 17. Then, Chunming took a deep breath and looked toward the small hill. He hadn't forgotten the main task. Rare mental resources. Chunming quickly walked up the hill, searching for the smooth wall in the center. The cyan blue flame still burned quietly inside the gas cloud, emitting a faint glow, like an oil lamp. Sangyin Flowing Fire, a mental attribute type. Sangyin Flowing Fire? The name sounds pretty cool, but I wonder if its actual effects match the name. Chunming looked at the floating Sangyin in his hand, his expression shifting slightly. At this moment, as he examined this strange flame closely, he began to notice some clues. The blue tail flame of Sangyin Flowing Fire burns intensely, blazing fiercely. Meanwhile, the main body's white flame is completely opposite, seeming to have no heat at all. Chunming could even feel a slight coolness from his palm. Just then, the scene in the canyon started to change. Congratulations! You have completed the Yunine Mountain Stream Dungeon 1. Treasure Hunt. Gathered more than 10 energy attribute materials. Progress, 18/10. 2. Challenge. Successfully defeated more than 5 guardian monsters. Progress, 6/5. Time taken, 5 hours. Rating, perfect. Dungeon points 20. The dungeon is cleared. A perfect rating, as expected. He had already pushed himself to the limit. It wouldn't make sense if it wasn't rated perfect. Dungeon points are actually 20? Dungeon points are basically the scores for the big test. After 7 days, the dungeon ranking will be announced, and it will be based on the points of the job changers. 20 points in the dungeon are enough to match completing 3 or 4 large dungeons. Other job changers are still struggling to reach level 5. Chunming has already started accumulating dungeon points. Yunine Mountain Stream, Dungeon, Perfect Completion Reward, Experience, 500. 1-tier Epic Mental Equipment. Wow, epic level? Chunming's eyes lit up. He didn't expect to be rewarded with such rare gear. If he wanted to buy it in the guild, mental equipment would cost much more. An epic level mental gear is almost impossible to find. Dust Heart Ring, 1-tier Epic Mental Equipment. Just as he was about to check it out, his aura suddenly changed dramatically. Congratulations. Your level has increased to level 6. 1,200 experience points needed to level up. Chunming was only a few hundred experience points away from level 6. The 500 experience points from the copy reward allowed him to reach level 6. Can you believe this Dust Heart Ring also gives a 100-point boost to mental strength? Chunming checked the ring's attributes and was immediately surprised. It had already been enhanced with 10 mental rune stones. Thinking of this, Chunming took out the mental rune stones he gained from defeating the flame spirit in the spiritual space and added them to the Dust Heart Ring. Mental Strength 110. Nice, nice. This boost was almost equivalent to leveling up, and it was still far from the maximum limit. A first-tier epic grade equipment can hold up to 30 rune stones. However, mental rune stones are a bit hard to find. He planned to ask some guilds when he returned if they had any available. Chunming equipped the Dust Heart Ring. He looked at his current stats. Class, Shield Guard, Level 6, Strength 80, Constitution 3500/4550, 20%, Recovery 435, 19%, Agility 79, Mental Strength 820, 20%, Skills, C grade, Fighting Spirit. LV9, SSS grade, A absolute defense, max level. This outdoor dungeon was really worth it. Chunming felt very happy. That's the benefit of outdoor dungeons. If you're lucky, you can gain huge rewards. Of course, bigger rewards come with greater risks. You might even encounter some terrifying dungeons and never return. After finishing with his equipment, Chunming looked again at the azure flame fire in his hand. Surely this time I won't even splash a little water, right? This item was much stronger than the soul crystal, clearly visible to the naked eye. Chen Ming didn't hesitate and began to absorb it. He used his mental power to wrap the entire flame, pulling out its pure energy. Compared to the quick absorption of the soul crystal, the azure flame fire was noticeably slower. In the valley, Chen Ming sat on the ground, with pale blue flames floating at his forehead, emitting a faint glow. As time passed, the flames gradually shrank, until they finally disappeared. Chen Ming slowly opened his eyes. Mental strength 10, sure enough, it's not at the same level. The spirit crystal absorbed 2, but didn't increase his mental strength at all, which made him quite disappointed. And this was just a small spark, yet it directly added 10. The difference is obvious. Although, in terms of numbers, it's just the bonus from a mental rune stone. But the meaning behind each is different. The biggest role of rare resources is to awaken skills. Also, after absorbing the Tsangyan flow fire, Chen Ming finally felt some progress. If we think of absorbing attribute energy to awaken skills as filling a water pond, now at least there is a surface of water. What is this? Suddenly, Chen Ming felt something strange. He looked down at his hands, with a slightly surprised expression. Poof! A faint flash of fire appeared briefly. In the next second, a burst of sparks suddenly appeared at his fingertips. The pale flames flickered, with blue tail flames at the top. It was the Tsangyan he had already absorbed. That, Chen Ming's mouth opened slightly, speechless. Armor break. When attacking, add Tsangyan, armor break, 20%. Looking at the message in front of him, Chen Ming took half a minute to digest it. Honestly, he was truly shocked. Absorbing a rare resource directly gave him a skill-like effect. He had heard of this before, but it was usually about extremely powerful resources considered treasures. After absorbing these resources, it could allow a transmuter to pre-know some abilities that would be awakened later. In other words, after Chen Ming absorbed the Tsangyan flow fire, the skill he was about to awaken related to mental abilities would be about armor break, and now he had pre-controlled part of that ability. Is this thing really so powerful? It's already at the level of legendary treasure resources? Looking at the effect of the Tsangyan, Chen Ming couldn't help but smile. This was an extra surprise, an unexpected gain. What is most needed when fighting across levels? First, attack methods. Second, high defense of exotic beasts, which makes damage less effective. And now, 20% armor break. This is more useful than a 20% attack power. Chen Ming couldn't help but start to feel a little excited. He wondered how powerful his newly awakened mental skills would become. Chen Ming picked up his broken rock dagger and tried swinging it a few times. Hoo! The blade sliced through the air, making a soft buzzing sound. At the same time, a faint pale flame flickered across the void. A wave of heat burst out into the air. Soon, it turned into ashes and disappeared. Finally, it's no longer just a simple attack. Although the change was small, just adding a flame effect, it was a good start. At least, it showed some progress. Too bad. I wish this azure flame flowing fire could come more often. This skill is very rare, much stronger than a mental crystal by dozens of times. But I still have a long way to go to reach my goal. The process of absorbing attribute energy to awaken mental skills is very deep and difficult. Right now, it seems unlikely to reach the ultimate level. Finding such a rare resource in an outdoor dungeon is already lucky. Even so, Chen Ming could only build up a small layer of power. If someone else were in his place, they probably wouldn't even reach level 20, let alone level 10. After I finish the big exam reward, I'll just awaken my skills. Chen Ming made up his mind. It's not that he doesn't want to pursue perfection, but this process is endless. After putting away his broken rock dagger, Chen Ming looked around. The thick fog had thinned a bit and no longer blocked his view. After clearing the Yunin mountain stream dungeon, the surroundings had changed. The grassy ground had disappeared, replaced by brown earth. The mountain stream had returned to a gloomy valley, shrouded in faint mist. Dungeons are special areas that can influence reality. Once a small dungeon is cleared, the area will revert to its original state. So, when a summoner's strength becomes powerful enough to affect reality, they can create dungeons at will. Should I go back now? Chen Ming took out his phone and checked the time. It's already midnight. The phone has no signal outdoors. Its only purpose is to tell the time. Chen Ming still feels very energetic and not tired at all. So, staying in the strange beast forest to level up is still a good idea. Just as Chen Ming was deciding whether to return to the city now or wait until dawn to go back, he suddenly sensed something was wrong. The valley suddenly became very quiet, and all the tiny sounds disappeared strangely. It wasn't the usual quiet at night. It was an eerie silence, as if everything had stopped, and even the slightest breeze or rustling was gone. At the same time, Chen Ming noticed the fog in this large valley was starting to clear. More precisely, the fog covering the entire area was being blown away by some mysterious force. In just a few seconds, all the fog in the sky vanished. The faint moonlight shone again on the valley. What's going on? What's happening? This scene was a bit too strange. Chen Ming looked up at the sky. Then he saw a light. A glow rose in the night sky, starting soft and growing brighter. Eventually, it looked like a bright, shining moon hanging high. The valley was once dark and shadowy, with the whole area covered in blackness. But now, it felt like the clouds had parted, revealing the world again. Howl! At that moment, a long, clear wolf howl sounded. Chen Ming looked toward the distance. This valley didn't have the huge forest trees that blocked the sky. Under the moonlight, he could see far away. On a distant mountain peak, a giant wolf was howling at the sky. With the moonlight shining on it, Chen Ming could vaguely see what it looked like. It stood under the moon, its body as big as a small hill, yet still agile and strong. Its fur was a mix of white and blue, shimmering with tiny lights. Now, it held its head high and howled at the bright moon. Then Chen Ming saw it suddenly leap into the air, stepping into the void. Wow, so terrifying. Chen Ming squinted, watching this scene. It was flying in the air. That's a skill only level 40 or above can have. It is clear that this is a terrifying level of strange beast, not like the minions Chen Ming has encountered before. However, he is also a bit confused. Why would such a high-level beast appear here? Although Chen Ming is now quite deep into the area, he is still only on the outskirts of the beast forest. Beasts of this disaster level are usually found deep inside, rarely near human settlements. They might not even appear in first-level beast forests. Suddenly, before he can think further, he hears the giant wolf howl again. It is standing in the night sky, its body shining brightly under the moonlight, almost glowing. Why are you howling so late at night? Chen Ming mutters quietly. He isn't in the mood to watch wolves howl at midnight. He is about to leave this valley. But in the next moment, he senses something and stops in surprise. Is this? Chen Ming looks up at the night sky. He sees the giant wolf opening its mouth wide, swallowing the moonlight little by little. At the same time, its fur is flying, releasing white streams of air. A hot aura begins to rise in the valley, growing stronger and stronger. Finally, the night sky starts to shimmer with waves of heat, forming swirling pale flames. Blue flame. Chen Ming's eyes widen in shock. He quickly looks up. He sees the pale flames forming a huge sea of fire in the sky, very spectacular. In the center of the fire sea, a whirlpool is swirling, and right there is the giant wolf. Above the fire, several flames fall from the sky like a rain of fire. One of these flames is heading toward Chen Ming. Seeing this scene, Chen Ming feels a certain guess forming in his mind. Sure enough, that pale flame lands on a small dirt hill. The hot aura hits him instantly. So that's how the blue flame flow fire is formed. Chen Ming is very amazed. He quickly walks over to check the dirt hill. He sees that the previously empty hill is now flickering with flames again. But the flames are much smaller than before and not enough to be considered a resource. It's clear that more accumulation is needed before it can fully form. But this already explains the situation very well. Such a rare resource is actually renewable. If this news gets out, it will surely attract many people. But right now, Chen Ming's mind isn't on that. His breathing becomes heavy, and he slowly turns his head, looking toward the giant wolf. A single ray of light falling from the night sky's fiery sea is enough to create a stream of blue flames. Behind the giant wolf, there is a large area filled with moonlight and concentrated blue flames. If he could get all of it, Chen Ming's heart races. He instinctively swallows hard. He forces himself to stay calm. This giant wolf is at least a level 40 supernatural beast. He definitely can't fight it. The only way is to sneak around. There was also one person he did not recognize. However, that man was standing at the front. Chen Ming felt surprised. All the principals of Yunhai City had come. Perhaps they were drawn here by the commotion. That made sense. A level 40 strange beast appeared outside the city, which was very dangerous. One wrong move could lead to the city's destruction and loss of life. As senior transmuters of Yunhai City, the principals also had the duty to protect the city. At this moment, in the distant mountain peaks, a few people on the Metal Crow looked up at the night sky, watching the scene of the great wolf swallowing the moon, with different expressions. Have you all been in Yunhai City and not noticed anything? A hoarse voice asked, full of suspicion. The three principals looked down silently and didn't speak. They didn't expect there to be a level 49 Moonlight Wolf King outside the city, and it wasn't their fault. They themselves weren't level 49, so it was normal they didn't notice. But at the same time, they felt a bit relieved. If the inspector hadn't come to Yunhai City by chance and noticed the abnormality tonight, they really wouldn't have known. There was a high-level beast king outside the city. Humans, get out. Suddenly, a furious voice echoed through the valley. The giant wolf, which was swallowing moonlight in the night sky, had stopped its movements. Its bright eyes, like the moon, looked toward the inspector's group. The giant wolf spoke human words, leave. This land. Human territory. I have no interest. It clearly understood the inspector's intentions. I am also not interested in your affairs. From the Metal Crow's mouth, a cold, mechanical voice sounded. Its metallic eyes fixed on the giant wolf as it slowly spoke. Moonlight Wolf King, residing in the Level 2 Strange Beast Forest North Abyss, leader of the Moonlight Wolf Pack. Clearly, this giant wolf was not a native here. A Level 2 Beast King from a distant forest had traveled a long way to reach the outskirts of a human city. This kind of situation just feels wrong no matter how I think about it. This is the real reason why the inspector has arrived. In the sky, when they heard that its ID card was exposed directly, the giant wolf angrily bared its sharp teeth. Humans. Despicable. Likewise, the Metal Crow looked directly at the Moon Wolf King without fear. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. In the night sky, the pale flames seemed to boil, swirling with large patches of moonlight, like a storm. These flames and moonlight. At this moment, a few principals finally noticed the strange flames and moonlight in the sky. Such strong energy from these elements. They initially thought it was some ability of the giant wolf. But now, sensing it carefully, they realized it contained a huge amount of energy. These white flames and moonlight are actually rare resources. The three looked at each other, unable to hide their shock. The principal from the fifth school even took action, drawing a strand of flame in front of himself. Good stuff. His eyes sparkled as he exclaimed. The enormous amount of pure energy in these flames and moonlight even tempted him. You dare to seek death. This move seemed to instantly anger the Moon Wolf King. In the next second, his already huge body expanded again. 50 meters. 100 meters. In just a moment, he transformed into a giant beast standing 500 meters tall. This was his original size. A true giant wolf king. Howl. Die. The Moon Wolf King howled loudly, raising his head. White flames and bright moonlight surged violently around him. They quickly condensed into countless flowing blades. The fire blades, carrying moonlight, poured down like a heavy rain, with a hot aura sweeping across the valley. The blazing fire blades cut through the night sky, aiming directly at the four inspectors. Seeing this scene, the principals instinctively swallowed. They quickly moved away, not wanting to get involved in the fight. Even though they were all level 40 experts, fighting the Moon Wolf King might not be easy. There is a big difference of one level above level 40. Moreover, this Moon Wolf King is truly a ferocious beast, and it is already fully grown. It is not comparable to ordinary strange beasts. This battle can only be decided by the inspector. They just need to support from the side. The fight is about to begin. The Metal Crow suddenly spreads its black golden wings and hovers in the air. As it flaps its wings, a strong gust of wind erupts, accompanied by thunderous sounds. Lightning and wind intertwine, forcefully tearing apart the incoming blazing moonlight blade. The aftershock causes the valley to shake violently. Meanwhile, under the spectacular battle in the night sky, A sneaky figure has already arrived at another part of the valley. This is behind the Moonwolf King. Wow, this is like a fairy fight, Chun Mingyuan muttered, glancing from afar. Let them fight as fiercely as they can. He whispered. That makes it easier for me to do my big task. This spot is behind the valley. Chun Ming looked up. The fiery sea and strange moonlight in the night sky had gradually disappeared. Only terrifying aftershocks kept spreading and shaking the air. It was the giant wolf fighting the suspected mechanic-class warrior. But Chun Ming knew that the blazing fire and moonlight hadn't disappeared. He had already noticed this when using his mental power earlier. In the night sky, the pale flames swallowed by the giant wolf and the faint blue moonlight flowed and intertwined, forming a long river descending from the sky. It landed somewhere ahead. Chun Ming guessed that was the giant wolf's treasure, so, amid the chaos, he decided to take a risk. In front of a level 40 giant beast and a level 40 class changer, he aimed to steal. At this moment, Chun Ming had pushed the Shadow Armor's stealth ability to its limit. His figure appeared blurry. Coupled with Feather Boots' swift movement, he was quickly darting through the valley. His speed was very fast, and he was careful not to be exposed. He couldn't afford to make a mistake. Once discovered, it would ruin everything. That group of people are high-level officials from Yunhai City, and one of them is the principal of Yunhai No. 1 High School, where Chun Ming studies. If they were exposed, it probably wouldn't be life-threatening. They might even protect him. However, resources definitely wouldn't be available to him. So, when Chun Ming saw the giant wolf, several principals, and the mechanic man, he didn't use his mental power to investigate them. Advanced transmuters and giant beasts have strong mental abilities. Carelessly probing them would only reveal his presence. Soon, Chun Ming followed the direction where Song Yin and Yu Hua descended and arrived at a special place. It was an area surrounded by a swirling, unclear vortex of chaotic energy. An invisible energy, like a cover, shielded the area ahead. Chun Ming approached to check and found that the energy of this cover was very chaotic and disorderly. He frowned, feeling unsure of how to handle it. If it was a dangerous, aggressive place, Chun Ming could force his way in directly. But this cover was defensive. That was the problem that troubled him. He wasn't afraid of the strongest spear, but he was afraid of the shield. Because he himself was a very strong shield. Just as Chun Ming was feeling helpless, he suddenly sensed something with his mental power. He turned his head to look behind him. In the next moment, whoosh, a streak of light, too fast to see clearly, appeared nearby. It was a person. Chun Ming instinctively thought he had been exposed. But upon closer look, he realized it was a transmuter he had never seen before. Could there be a master here too? The person had white hair, looked quite old, and had a pair of very noticeable white wings on his back. A transmuter with an angelic profession. After arriving, the old man immediately looked at Chun Ming. In the next second, Chun Ming felt a powerful mental force sweep over his entire body. Level 6, and a shield guard too. The old man quickly saw through Chun Ming's level, then showed a look of confusion and surprise. How could a novice appear in such a place? Seeing Chun Ming standing in front of the chaotic vortex shield, he suddenly understood what was happening. Kid, you've got some guts. The old angelic profession master gave a half smile and then waved his hand at Chun Ming. How dare you steal these resources? Leave quickly. This is not the place for you. The old angel profession master finished speaking and paid no more attention to Chun Ming. In his eyes, Chun Ming was just a young novice who had recently changed jobs. Where's this? The forest of exotic beasts, the temporary lair of the Tsangyue Wolf King and its giant beast. A fierce battle was still raging nearby. Could a level 6 little kid really participate? He considered just warning the other side as a kind gesture. Then he looked at the shield ahead and reached out his hand to probe. Suddenly, the chaotic whirlpools on the shield stopped spinning and began to flow in reverse. As more whirlpools reversed, the shield gradually dimmed without a sound until it disappeared completely. Throughout this process, there was not a single noise. Behind, Chun Ming watched silently. He didn't leave, just took a few steps back. Seeing this, Chun Ming understood. It turns out they had encountered a fellow adventurer. Boom! At that moment, a loud roar filled with rage echoed through the air. It was deafening. causing the entire space to tremble. Chen Ming looked over. After the shield disappeared, the true appearance of this land was revealed. It was a hollow depression. Below, there was a small pond with two clearly different liquids flowing in it. Above the depression, strange phenomena occurred. Pure white flames rose from nowhere, surrounded by falling, bright moonlight. However, the depression was guarded by a giant wolf shadow behind it. This wolf was an illusion, resembling the Wolf King in the distant night sky. Clearly, this was the Wolf King's lair's guard, designed to prevent intruders. At this moment, the Wolf King's illusion burst out with an overwhelming presence, radiating a strong sense of pressure. The old man reacted quickly and acted the moment the illusion appeared. He cast a blurry energy barrier that covered the entire area. This isolated the noise from spreading out. Then, the old man tried to step into the depression. But as soon as he approached, the Wolf King's illusion lunged at him. With a swipe of its giant paw, several attacks like crescent-shaped slashes came flying, carrying blue flames. The old man did not resist forcefully, but quickly stepped back. This is tricky. The old man frowned as he looked at the Wolf King's shadow re-entering the hollow. This was a skill clone formed by the Moonlight Wolf King, so it was a powerful attack with no mercy. He could destroy this clone easily, but doing so would surely attract the Moonlight Wolf King's attention. At that point, he might lose the chance to get what he wanted. Thinking of this, the old man looked at the pond in the hollow. It contained two types of liquids. One was a pale, fiery fluid, and the other was clear and sparkling. His eyes focused on the latter. "Are you after the moonlight resource?" Just as the old man hesitated, he suddenly heard a calm voice behind him. Turning around, he saw the same novice newcomer from before. "You're not leaving yet." The old man frowned again. This kid really isn't afraid of danger. Chen Ming looked up and glanced at the barrier covering this area. "Can we work together?" he asked. "Work together?" The old man was surprised and looked at Chen Ming with a strange expression. A level 6 shield guard, and he wondered what they could possibly cooperate on. "Are young people this confident now? I can get the resources from that pond. You help me hide what's happening here." Chen Ming spoke straightforwardly. "I want the one from the flame of Tsangyan, and you want the moonlight one." They were already at a dead end. Suddenly, a high-level class changer appeared and helped him deal with the barrier. As for the other person's current problem, Chen Ming understood very well. The shadow guarding the pond wanted to get the resources, so it had to be defeated. If that happened, the giant wolf would definitely notice what was going on here. The angelic old man. What is this guy talking about? Does he not realize his own strength? That Wolf King's shadow could kill a level 10 class changer with a single fart, let alone a level 6. Where do you get your courage? The old man was getting impatient and didn't want to bother with Chen Ming. The situation was already tense, and now a reckless newcomer was causing trouble. "Have you thought it over? Don't waste time. Hesitation will lead to failure," Chen Ming urged. The aftershock of the distant battle gradually subsided, and it was unclear if the fight was over. If they delayed any longer, they might be discovered. Hearing Chen Ming's words, the old angel man was so angry he laughed. He was surprised that the mighty heavenly spirit was actually urging him. "Come on, today I want to see how you get through." The old man was so angry he puffed out his cheeks and glared. He decided to agree easily. He wanted to see if this young man would be killed by a single claw or by the Wolf King's shadow tail. Seeing that the angel-like old man finally agreed, Chen Ming nodded. Without hesitation, he walked straight toward the hollow. Does this kid have a death wish? He's really daring. Behind him, seeing Chen Ming's actions, the old man frowned deeply, realizing he wasn't joking. But soon, he withdrew his gaze. Anyway, if this young man died, he decided not to interfere. He thought he brought this on himself. He had no self-awareness at all. Ahead, as soon as Chen Ming stepped into the hollow, the giant wolf shadow moved instantly. A huge shadow rushed in front of him. Boom! The Wolf King's shadow struck down with a paw. At that moment, the pressure seemed to distort the surrounding space. If not for the barrier blocking it, this area might have shaken violently. But Chen Ming stood still, calm and unmoved. This was his first time facing such a powerful beast attack, and he couldn't help but look up curiously. A terrifying fire rained down like a fiery storm from the sky. What's this kid doing? Behind him, although he believed this naive newcomer would die miserably, the old man couldn't help but glance. But when he saw Chun Ming walking leisurely, as if out for a stroll, he grimaced. He thought the young man was overconfident in his speed, trying to cheat and quickly steal the resources from the pool. But now, the other was just walking straight in. And he even slightly looked up, watching the Wolf King's shadow attack come closer. Just as the old man thought Chun Ming was about to be shattered by the wolf claw, the next moment, he saw something that made him doubt his eyes. Bang! The terrifying claw strike hit the young man, making a loud explosion. The brutal scene he imagined did not happen. The giant claw shadow of the Wolf King stopped in front of Chun Ming and remained still. It stopped. Why did this happen? The shadow of the skill has no consciousness and should only attack targets that come close to the hollow. But now, it was stopping in front of the novice. That's not right. But in the next second, the old man's eyes widened. He saw that the tip of the claw was fixed on the young man's shoulder. It wasn't that the shadow stopped attacking, but that the attack was forcefully blocked. And the aftershock of the attack also strangely disappeared. As a high-level class changer, the old man could clearly see the attribute energy. The previous attack from the shadow was like hitting nothing at all. Not only the attack itself, but also the flames and explosive power that followed did not fully unleash. What's going on? The old man was no longer calm. This was the first time he saw such a situation. He even rubbed his eyes to make sure he wasn't seeing things. Then he saw Chun Ming move, and the Wolf King's shadow also moved again. Boom, boom, boom. A series of terrifying attacks rained down one after another. The entire hollow trembled constantly. The old man watched with a pounding heart. With such continuous attacks, if it were him, he would find it hard to endure. This was his dilemma. Even though he was very strong, if he didn't deal with the Wolf King's shadow, he couldn't withstand the damage and come out safely. And if he destroyed the shadow, it would surely attract the attention of the Moonlight Wolf King. But at this moment, someone was actually able to withstand the Wolf King Shadow's attack and enter the hollow. However, this person was a level 6 class changer. -1, -1, -1. Chun Ming was walking across the hollow. The sky above was filled with giant claws falling like rain, each strike carrying a terrifying force as if to crush everything beneath. The dense flames and moonlight gathered into powerful attacks, blending into a frightening display of strength. The ground beneath trembled constantly. Finally, he reached the center pool. Chun Ming bent down, looking at the liquid inside. Two very different liquids flowed in the pool, separated by a clear line. Azure flame melting fire, fire element spirit attribute, moonlight glass. Light element spirit attribute. Chun Ming's eyes lit up. It wasn't the flowing fire he had seen before, but molten fire. The azure flame had already turned into liquid form, showing how rich and dense it was. Just one drop of this liquid probably took countless streams of azure flame to create. He suppressed his excitement and prepared to collect some of it. At that moment, his gaze sharpened as he looked at the place where the molten fire and moonlight merged. There, a small, unremarkable sphere caught his attention. It floated quietly between the two resources, like being at the border between ice and fire. Chun Ming used his mental probe to scan. Azure Flame Core. It was beyond his current detection level. He paused, breathing heavily. Then, he took out 2 containers from his mental space and quietly began collecting the resources from the pool. The azure flame melting fire and moonlight glass weren't very special. After collecting, they only filled a normal bottle-sized container. After finishing, Chun Ming stepped out of the depression. Outside, he saw that he had ignored the attack from the Wolf King's illusion. He simply carried the azure flame melting fire in one hand and the moonlight glass in the other and walked out. The old man was already stunned. Since the beginning, he had started to doubt everything. He didn't dare to face the Moon Wolf King's attack directly, yet it seemed completely ineffective against a level 6 transfer student. It was as if he was immune to the Wolf King's attack. After some actions, his clothes were slightly dirty. Honestly, the old man had lived for decades. This is the first time I've encountered such an outrageous situation. Could it be that this young man has awakened the legendary invisibility skill? Or perhaps a short-term invincibility SSS level skill? But isn't he only at sea level? When did sea level shield guards gain skills like invisibility or invincibility? This doesn't make sense. Suddenly, the old man thought of another possibility. At this moment, Chen Ming had already taken out the azure flame molten fire and moonlight glass. Your moonlight resources. Chen Ming was straightforward, directly handing over the moonlight glass. This was prearranged. He knew that the moonlight glass was also very rare and valuable, on the same level as the azure flame molten fire. But he kept his promise and didn't hesitate. Getting the molten fire was already a surprise. Moreover, the properties of the moonlight resources clearly don't match those of the azure flame resources. He had already absorbed the azure flame, so holding onto the moonlight glass was useless, unless it was saved for future breakthroughs in 40% mental strength to awaken a skill. The old man took the bottle handed over by Chen Ming. Looking at the clear, sparkling moonlight glass, with silver light flowing inside, the old man still felt it was a bit unreal, then instinctively glanced at the azure flame molten fire in Chen Ming's hand. Unexpectedly, the next second, Chen Ming raised the bottle and tilted his head, and drank the azure flame molten fire in one gulp. You! The old man was stunned. What is this young man doing? Although the azure flame molten fire is a resource that can be absorbed by a transmuter, it's not meant to be drunk like that. Aside from the enormous energy it contains, this is molten fire condensed from flames. What's the difference between drinking it and swallowing lava? He even drank it all in one go. Is he not afraid that his internal organs will be burned through? Burp. The response from the old man was a loud burp. He could even feel a hot aura rushing toward him. What a bold move. Chen Ming rubbed his stomach, feeling warm inside. He chose to drink the Sanyan melt fire immediately, and there was a reason for that. First, he already had the item. Although he felt that the old angel profession man wasn't a bad person, he still had to be cautious. He wasn't afraid the old man would attack him suddenly, but he was worried about his resources being taken. If the other side wanted to steal, he wouldn't be able to stop them. So, he decided to drink it right in front of him. He didn't have any extra thoughts. He just felt a strong attachment. Young man, you're quite bold. The old man finally understood what Chen Ming was trying to do. Then, he turned his head to look at the night sky. Everything is done. Let's go quickly. Without waiting, he grabbed Chen Ming's shoulder. A white glow appeared around them, like a transparent shield protecting both of them. Two white wings materialized, shining brightly. Then, their figures turned into a streak of light, flying rapidly away from the valley toward the beast forest. Meanwhile, on the other side, under the night sky, the battle between the Moon Wolf King and the Metal Crow was over. At this level, battles don't end quickly. Most of the time, they are just testing each other's strength. After all, the Moon Wolf King and the Inspector didn't have any serious grudges. They just fought until they reached a draw. If either side got too aggressive, a big fight could break out, and that would be hard to stop. Moon Wolf King, are you willing to have a serious talk now? The Inspector stood with his hands behind his back, looking up at the night sky. Humph. The Moon Wolf King was huge, casting a big shadow in the night, giving off a strong sense of power. Humans. There's nothing to talk about. Suddenly, the Moon Wolf King's bright eyes flashed. It quickly turned its head to look behind. In the next moment, its massive body moved suddenly, crossing the entire valley at an incredible speed. It appeared above the area of the hollow. The Wolf King's eyes immediately looked toward the hollow area. When it saw that the cover had disappeared, its eyes shot out a blinding light. However, it was relieved to see that its skill's shadow was still guarding this place. But then, when it entered the hollow to check, its entire body froze. It was empty. The pond was empty. Howl! A furious roar echoed through the valley. The Moon Wolf King was furious. It was gone. Everything was gone. Not even a drop was left. Who is it? A thunderous voice exploded across the entire area. Meanwhile, seeing the Moon Wolf King suddenly leave, several principals relaxed. This Moon Wolf King's true strength is probably above level 50. If not for the patrol officer's escort, the principals from Yunhai City might not have been able to handle it. We must take this seriously. The appearance of such a huge beast near our city's border is very dangerous. Principal Zhong from number 1 high school spoke seriously. He was speaking to the patrol officer. With Yunhai City's overall strength, fighting the Moon Wolf King would be difficult. They could only rely on the higher-ups. Principals from number 3 and number 5 high schools also looked toward the patrol officer. I will report this to the Alliance and ask for more help for Yunhai City. The patrol officer reassured the principals, saying, "I will stay in Yunhai City for now to prevent the Wolf King from causing trouble here. By the way, how much do you know about this hollow area?" The patrol officer suddenly changed the subject and asked the three principals. He had sensed something was wrong from the moment he arrived. This was definitely not a normal area. Plus, the appearance of the Moon Wolf King here was enough to prove that. After the patrol officer asked, the three principals also realized what the problem was. This place. Before they could finish, they were interrupted by a furious roar. They looked up at the night sky nearby and saw the Moon Wolf King returning. And its condition seemed a bit strange. The light's size surprisingly doubled compared to before. It has blood-red eyes and emits a fierce, angry aura. Right now, it is coming toward us, giving a feeling of pressing down on the night sky. Why did the Wolf King suddenly go crazy? Night is ending, and dawn is arriving. The sky has begun to show faint light. Above the vast beast forest, a bright streak of light cuts across the sky. It heads straight toward Yunhai City. Only when it nears the outskirts of the city does the streak land in the suburbs. The light fades, revealing two figures, a young one and an old one. Chen Ming is experiencing flying for the first time and feels quite curious. Honestly, this old man is pretty good. He even took him along while running away. I say, "Young man, are you really okay?" The old man puts down Chen Ming and looks at his body. Right now, Chen Ming looks a bit strange. His exposed skin is glowing red. Because he drank the Sangyin molten fire, he can feel a huge amount of energy expanding inside him. His internal organs seem to be heating up. -1. Yes, he's already starting to get hurt. If his body strength weren't so incredible, Chen Ming might have exploded by now, physically speaking. But he isn't panicking at all. To Chen Ming, it's just that his body is a little hot. A small matter, just an inch or two. "I'm fine. Thanks a lot, senior, for helping me escape." When Chen Ming speaks, visible hot air puffs out of his mouth. Like a furnace. The old man. "You call this fine?" He feels that if he could light a fire, this kid would be spitting flames. He might even blow up right then and there. Well, never mind. You should go now. He had planned to talk more with this young man who drinks magma, to find out more about him and see which big family he comes from. But seeing how close he was to exploding, he held back. Unlike beast creatures, human bodies are very fragile and cannot digest substances containing attribute energy. Only through slow absorption can it be transformed into the foundation of the awakening skills for the transmuter. Right now, the young man's only option is to successfully absorb the burning flame lava before his body is harmed. Otherwise, something bad will happen. He can hardly imagine the consequences if it goes wrong. His body might even melt. This young man. The old man looked in Chen Ming's direction with a complex expression. He guessed that the other person was probably a hidden profession or a dual-class transmuter. Otherwise, how could he have a skill that temporarily immune to damage? He once met a high-level SS-ranked transmuter from China, whose skill lasted 5 minutes with 99% damage immunity. It was terrifying. He believed this young man also had a top-tier skill like that. The old man withdrew his thoughts and then took out a bottle of bright blue liquid from his chest. Looking at the item in his hand, moonlight glass, he showed a relieved smile. With this, Schwer will definitely be able to awaken a mental skill in the future. On the other side, Chen Ming was walking back to the city. It was almost 7 a.m. now. In the suburbs, some team groups of transmuters could be seen heading toward the safe zone outside the city. They were preparing for their 3rd day of leveling up. Along the way, many people noticed Chen Ming. There was no way to ignore him. It was impossible not to see. Chen Ming was walking in the suburbs, glowing with a red light, making him very eye-catching. Wow, that looks like Chen Ming. Is he coming back from outside the city? Did he level up all night in the wild? That's impressive. No wonder he's ranked first. What's going on with his state? Chen Ming realized he suddenly became very popular. Almost everyone who saw him came over to greet him unexpectedly. Ding dong. At this moment, his phone received a message. Near the city, the signal was back. Chen Ming picked up his phone and saw 2 messages. One was a friend request, and the other was a message from Sun Yang. "Brother Chen, where are you? Now, everyone outside is talking about your legend." Chen Ming responded with a question mark. Then he checked his friend requests and saw it was Qin Jishua. The note only had 2 words. "Team up. By the way, Qin Jishua probably reached level 5 too, so she can join a team for dungeons. Once a team leader reaches level 5, the whole team can enter dungeons together. The experience and rewards from the dungeon are shared equally, so there's no difference between solo and team runs. The only difference is the rating after completing the dungeon. So, for challenging dungeons, teaming up is definitely better than solo runs. With teammates, the dungeon clearance is naturally faster. And teaming up with someone like Qin Jishue, who has an SS-level profession, is even better. Chun Ming accepted Qin Jishue's friend request. He thought for a moment and sent a message. Something came up now, so I need to delay teaming up for a while. Right now, Chun Ming's main goal is to absorb the internal energy of Song Yin melted fire. Qin Jishue quickly replied with a simple, "Okay, Brother Chun." Suddenly, someone shouted from nearby. It was Sun Yang. He saw Chun Ming from afar and ran over excitedly. "Wow, Brother Chun, why are you so red?" Sun Yang looked at Chun Ming's completely red body and was very surprised. He looked curious and examined Chun Ming from head to toe. Finally, he curiously touched Chun Ming's arm, which looked like a glowing red iron rod. "Ow! Very hot." Sun Yang blew on his burnt fingers and stepped back repeatedly. "Brother Chun, aren't you going through a mutation?" He felt that Chun Ming looked like a walking human furnace. Chun Ming didn't argue with Sun Yang, but asked about his level. "How many levels have you reached?" "Level 2. Hee, not as good as Brother Chun." Sun Yang scratched his head, feeling a bit embarrassed. Compared to this year's awakened profession changers, his leveling speed was decent. And today, he managed to reach level 3, still ranking in the top 100 in Yunhai City. But compared to Chun Ming, his leveling speed is just too slow. On the second day of the big exam, my buddy directly became the top player in Yunhai City. His leveling speed is even faster than SS-level job changers. However, Sun Yang didn't mention anything to Chun Ming about wanting to be carried while leveling. Even after learning yesterday that Chun Ming was not teaming up with Qin Jishue, but was leveling alone, he knew that Chun Gu was doing solo runs because he had his own reasons. Chun Ming nodded, then opened his personal panel. "I sent you an invitation. Please accept it." "What invitation?" Sun Yang looked at his own panel. "Ming Chun squad leader Chun Ming invites you to join the team. Do you agree?" Chun Ming said, "I have some things to take care of now. After I finish, I'll take you to do some dungeon leveling." Before, he was solo because his fighting style only allowed that. Now that he can enter dungeons to level up, he definitely wants to bring his son along. "Brother Chun, you're like my adoptive father." Seeing the message pop up on his panel, Sun Yang was very excited. Although Chun Gu had already told him before that he would take him to level up in dungeons, but when it actually happened, he was still very thrilled. Looking at the team members' info, Chun Ming, leader, C-level shield guard; Qin Jishue, member, SS-level holy light angel; Sun Yang, member, B-level stealth assassin. Wow. One is the top ranked in Yunhai City, and the other is second. He couldn't imagine how fast and fierce their dungeon clearance would be. Even if they were just messing around, it would definitely be faster than his own leveling speed by a lot. Is this the chance for Sun Yang to finally get some of that good fortune? But there was one thing that puzzled Sun Yang. "By the way, Brother Chun, when did you and Qin Jishue get together? You're really good at hiding it, even from your brothers." Chun Ming raised an eyebrow, looking at Sun Yang with a strange expression. "We're just friendly partners. Where are you getting that idea?" But clearly, Sun Yang didn't really listen to his explanation. He just nodded with "I understand look. Keep pretending, keep pretending." He had a downturned mouth, showing a crooked smile. "Brother Chun, no need to explain to my friends, I understand." Just then, two familiar figures approached from the direction of the city gate. It was Qin Jishue, with Lin Wei behind her. "Sister-in-law is here," Sun Yang instinctively said to Chun Ming. Qin Jishue is also a member of the morning team. Since Chun Ming is leading her to level up, they will definitely work together. Sun Yang feels that, as someone who often messes up, he should at least try to be helpful. Maybe he can help his brother and sister-in-law get along better. He also wants to leave a good impression on Qin Jishue, so she doesn't think poorly of their team just because of him. He doesn't want his own mistakes to affect Chun Ji's important life events. "Are you busy? If not, hurry up and go." Chun Ming glared at Sun Yang with a bit of annoyance. "Got it, I see. I'll make space for Chun Gu and sister-in-law." Sun Yang immediately stood up and left. Before leaving, He didn't forget to give Chun Ming a thumbs up to cheer him on. Qin Jishue then came over with Lin Wei. Sun Yang's voice was loud just now, so she definitely heard it. Chen Ming thought Qin Jishue might be embarrassed or might stop Sun Yang to clear up some rumors about him. But she didn't. Qin Jishue simply walked up confidently, looking very calm, just as usual. However, the girl with big eyes behind her seemed to look at him with some hostility. Are you okay? Is your body all right? Qin Jishue looked at Chen Ming and asked. From afar, she saw that Chen Ming was glowing red. When she got closer, she realized his body looked like it was burning hot, as if it might melt at any moment. Chen Ming waved his hand. No problem. I just ate a rare resource. I'll absorb it when I get back. Qin Jishue frowned slightly. A rare resource? And his body turned red, looking like a human furnace? Even though she was experienced, she didn't understand this situation. Because, for someone who changes jobs, swallowing resources directly is a big taboo. Most people who do it don't end well. But thinking it was Chun Ming, she suddenly felt it made some sense. There should still be space in the team, right? Qin Jishue talked about forming a team. Of course, there are 2 more spots, Chun Ming nodded. The team limit is 5 people, including himself, Qin Jishue, the newly arrived Sun Yang, and 2 more spots. Okay, then let Lin Wei join too. Lin Wei is the big-eyed girl behind Qin Jishue, an A-grade contract master. Chun Ming has heard of this profession. It is a special support role. Compared to normal support roles, a contract master can only assist one person. But the person they assist gets a huge boost. It's a powerful, bonded, support role, especially if paired with the right person. No wonder her level-up speed is faster than the 3 S-grade transplanters in Yunhai City. Following Qin Jishue, an SS-grade transplanter, the A-grade contract master's role can even match that of an S-grade support. You have invited Lin Wei, A-grade contract master, to join the team. Chen Ming sent the invitation. Lin Wei is someone who works with Qin Jishue, so he naturally wouldn't refuse. Lin Wei, A-grade contract master, has joined the Dawn team. Qin Jishue said, by the way, when will you have time? I have a special dungeon talisman. Chen Ming's spirits lifted. A special dungeon talisman? He immediately thought of the Yunnin Mountain Ravine dungeon, which had brought him many gains. So Chen Ming was very interested in the dungeon talisman now. But these things are rare and hard to find. Chen Ming knew Qin Jishue was inviting him to team up for a dungeon challenge. He smiled. It should be soon. He was not entirely sure. Based on how quickly he had been absorbing rare resources before, Sangyan Molten Fire was high level, but it shouldn't take too long. Maybe he could finish absorbing it this morning. Okay, I'll wait for you. After entering the city gate, Chen Ming headed straight to the guild. He needed to sell the beast cores he had collected and also sort out his equipment. Anyway, it was just a matter of buying and selling. It was early morning now, and the guild hall was almost empty. 5 minutes later, Chen Ming left the guild. This time, selling the beast core earned me 10 gold coins, which is dozens of times more than yesterday. Most of these came from 2 mysterious beast cores. A level 7 wind spirit beast core is worth 2 gold coins, equal to all the beast cores Chen Ming obtained from killing monsters when he upgraded from level 3 to level 6. Beast cores from mysterious beasts are very valuable and are the best material for making high-quality equipment. They even have a chance to create epic-level gear. The level 8 Flame Spirit Beast Core is worth 6 gold coins. Beast cores containing spiritual energy are essential for making spiritual equipment. Originally, Chen Ming planned to ask the guild blacksmith to craft a spiritual item for him, but after getting the epic Dust Heart Ring, it was no longer necessary. Broken Rock Knife, Strength 20. Dust Heart Ring, Spirit 300. At the same time, Chen Ming reforged his ordinary long sword with 10 strength through the guild's forging system and removed 10 strength rune stones. He also spent nearly 10 gold coins to buy 19 spirit rune stones at a high price. Damn, this is so expensive. 1 spirit rune stone costs 5 times more than usual. After buying and selling all day, he didn't earn even 1 gold coin. There's no way around it. Killing monsters to fully boost the Dust Heart Ring's bonus will take a long time. Maybe by then, Chen Ming will be above level 10. He looked at his current stats. Level 6, Strength, 83, Constitution, 3500/4550, 20%, Recovery, 435, 19%. Agility, 79. Spirit power, 10, 20, 20%. Not bad. My spirit power has already exceeded 1,000. After finishing everything, Chun Ming returned home. Time to get serious. I wonder how much I can improve this time. Chun Ming felt a bit excited. Just the azure flame fire already gave him a big boost. This was just a strand of azure flame falling from the night sky in that valley, forming a stream of fire. The molten fire he swallowed was already condensed into liquid azure flame. It was produced by a giant wolf monster over level 40 inhaling mysterious moonlight, and it took countless repetitions to form this rare resource. The difference between the two must be huge. If I can fill the deep pool that absorbs attribute energy, I will be able to awaken my mental skills now. Chun Ming slightly looked forward to it. He has already reached this level. If he still cannot perfect the process of absorbing attribute energy before reaching 21%, then there is really no way out. Then Chun Ming took a deep breath. The atmosphere in the room was hot. He could feel the energy inside his body expanding more and more, very intense. His body was like a pressure cooker, crazily compressing this energy. Fortunately, his pressure cooker doesn't mind pressure. Otherwise, this violent baptism might destroy his internal organs. Chun Ming gently closed his eyes, trying to calm himself as much as possible. Soon, it seemed like some force was pulling him. His consciousness sank into his body. In front of him was a small to medium-sized area, surrounded by a foggy scene outside. Is this my mental space? Chun Ming looked around. This was the mental space he created when he broke through to 20% mental strength. He could still see some resources he had collected, but the most noticeable thing was a special small ball floating in the space. Sangyin True Core? This was a mysterious object Chun Ming found when he stole resources from the pond in the hollow. He couldn't probe it, which meant it had already exceeded the range of his mental power. It's like his 20% mental strength can't probe information about those above level 40. But Chun Ming guessed this was also a rare resource. Just from the name. Flow fire, melt fire, true core. Looking at its state, isn't it just a sublimation of gaseous, liquid, and solid forms? This was also why he felt confident that he could achieve a perfect result this time. Then Chun Ming focused on absorbing that Sangyin melt fire. Once his consciousness entered the mental space, it was as if his senses were cut off. But he could perceive the accumulated attribute energy in his body more clearly. Inside the room, Chun Ming's body began to change. His originally bright red body, like heated iron, gradually cooled down, and the fiery aura subsided. At the same time, a faint glow intertwined outside, as if wrapped in a smooth, swirling air current, which was quite astonishing. Inside the mental space, Chun Ming had just absorbed some attribute energy and was regaining his focus. Mental strength 50. This is promising. Chun Ming felt excited inside. The effect of the Sangyin molten fire exceeded his expectations. Just by absorbing a small part, he gained 50 mental strength. If he absorbs all of it, wouldn't his mental strength increase by a few hundred? That would be like leveling up several times. His mental power surged dramatically. Remember, rare resources mainly awaken skills, and attribute boosts are just additional benefits. The added boost can reach hundreds of mental strength, but the main effect is even better. Chun Ming could also feel that his progress was significantly improved, estimated about 10%. Keep going. Chun Ming was very excited. He calmed his mind and focused on absorbing the attribute energy of the Sangyin molten fire. Mental strength 50. Progress 22%. While Chun Ming was immersed in absorbing mental resources, on the other side, at the city border, a huge metal crow carried 4 figures through the clouds, returning to the border. The 4 were the patrol officers and 3 principals who had just come back from the monster forest. However, some of their appearances looked a bit unsteady. Especially the principals. Their breath was chaotic, and they were covered in bloodstains. It was clear they had been injured. Cough, cough. Principal Wu's clothes were messy, and he coughed violently while holding his chest. What happened with the Tsangyue Wolf King? It's like someone suddenly cut off its vital parts. In that valley, they had already prepared to retreat. But then, the Tsangyue Wolf King suddenly seemed to catch a wild wolf disease and charged at them, fighting fiercely. It attacked with all its might, launching extremely violent assaults. It was like it had a deadly grudge against them. From the looks of it, it was ready to fight to the death with them. Most importantly, they wanted to leave, but the Tsangyue Wolf King wouldn't let them. If they try to run away directly, the Wolf King will head straight toward Yunhai City to attack. The inspector noticed this and ordered them to cooperate in fighting back to suppress the Wolf King. So, they had no choice but to fight. A few older people had to engage in a tense and exciting battle. Fortunately, with the inspector present, they managed to severely injure the Wolf King, forcing it to retreat. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult for these old folks. Bah! Principal Wang spat out some dirty blood, looking a bit grim. This battle was the most damaging to him. The Tsangyue Wolf King seemed to hold a grudge against him, paying extra attention to him. Damn it! All because he took a strand of Tsangyan? That strand of Tsangyan was rare, but for a 49-level Tsangyue Wolf King, it was probably not even worth a toothpick. And to think it bit him? It was like he had stolen from its home. Over the next few days, Yunhai City's defenses need to be strengthened. The Wolf King might come back again. The higher-ups have already responded, and reinforcements will arrive in Yunhai City soon, the inspector warned. He looked toward the beast forest with a serious expression, showing no extra emotion. Also, about the assessment in Yunhai City we mentioned last time, it can now be arranged. Hearing this, the principal's expressions changed. Principal Wang looked at the inspector hesitantly, then finally asked cautiously, "Sir, do you know what method will be used for this special assessment?" Ahead, the inspector stood on a metal crow's head, his cloak fluttering loudly. Selection. So far, he has gained mental power solely by absorbing the flame of Tsangyan. It has reached 490 points. This is a very frightening number. If we consider level ups, a normal class changer would need to increase 5 levels to get this much bonus. Remember, mental power is a special attribute that is important not only for mages and sorcerers. It affects long-term combat endurance, skill consumption, and the power of skill bursts. At the same time, there is something everyone cannot ignore that is also influenced by mental power. Lifespan. Just a little more. I hope to reach perfection. Chen Ming can feel that his process of absorbing attributes is almost at its limit. In other words, at the 20% mental power awakening stage, he is about to perfect it. Class changers also have a limit when absorbing rare resources, and this limit varies from person to person. But most people don't need to worry about this because they never reach that limit. I wonder what skill I will awaken after reaching the limit. Mental attack? Or the mental domain that only advanced class changers can awaken? But Chen Ming is sure of one thing. It won't be weak. And most likely, it will come with a noble armor-breaking attribute. Mental Power 1. Progress 91%. Mental Power 1. Progress 92%. Finally, Mental Power 1. Progress 100%. The moment he absorbed the last bit of attribute energy, Chen Ming felt a wave of clarity throughout his body. A very pleasant feeling flooded his mind. His consciousness returned to his body, and he suddenly opened his eyes, bright and clear. Without waiting for him to check his profession panel, a prompt appeared. Mental potential reaches 20%. Mental resource absorption is at its limit. Would you like to immediately awaken mental skills? Seeing the prompt that seemed to appear eagerly before him, Chen Ming had no hesitation and chose to awaken.